throws an interception at the 50-yard line into the hands of Zeffley, who had just come into the game, and he takes it to the 31.
Going to come apart. 49 yards will be the official yardage. Ryan Hansen, Hunter is the holder. On its way. It's good. No time remaining. The Saints have won on a 49-yard field goal by Morton Anderson. Third down, goal to go. Agility. That's something special right there. Jimmy Giles, the receiver. Brando Cunningham came of age in that Eagles victory. And when the clock counts down tonight, who will be this week's heroes? Will it be Jim Kelly, Buffalo Bills quarterback? Kelly is the leader of the Bills offensive unit, a big, strong, resilient quarterback who has the deep arm and the soft touch. Last week, Kelly, down by 17 to Indianapolis, brought the Bills back for a victory. Or tonight, will it be the Jets' Mark Gastineau? His is a compelling and at times bizarre comeback story. In any event, through 6 games, Gastineau led the AFC in sacks. Stick around, a critical AFC East matchup tonight as the Buffalo Bills meet the New York Jets on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Welcome to Giants Stadium in the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey, just across the Hudson River from New York City. This is where the Jets play their home games, and they'll meet the Buffalo Bills tonight, a longtime rival in the AFC. And the Buffalo Bills meeting the Jets in a key matchup here in the AFC East. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and welcome to a night off from baseball, all the drama of the World Series. We're glad you're with us. We think we have a good game coming your way. It is a key, a very important game in the AFC Eastern Division. Buffalo coming in tonight at 5-1. Now, if they can win tonight, they'll hold on to a 2-game lead with only 1 week remaining before the middle of the season over Miami. Meanwhile, the Jets, they have a 3-2-1 record. They started off horrendously against New England. They lost big to New England. Then they came back and won 3 in a row. Then they had a 5-quarter tie with Kansas City, and they lost big again last week to Cincinnati. Joe Walton, I think, does not really know what kind of a team is going to show up, who they're going to show up tonight, what are they going to be when they go out there to meet the Bills tonight, and I think he's a little bit concerned about that. We, however, know who has shown up in our booth, and he's with us tonight back from the Baseball Wars, Al Michaels. We put on our patches, Al. We're ready for your return, but seriously, super job.
Thank you very much. Good to be back. We go from the Mets to the Jets, and as you put it, Frank, you never know what you're going to get with the Jets. They fell apart at the end of the 1987 season. Joe Walton didn't want to call 88 a rebuilding year. He said it was more of a refurbishing year. The fans thought it was going to be a disastrous year after they were blown away on opening day 28-3. But right now they're 3-2-1. However, they come into tonight's game with a very short deck. Mickey Schuler will not dress tonight. Pinched nerve in his neck. Schuler in the first 6 games had caught 35 25 passes, tied for the conference lead. So a big part of their offense is gone tonight, and also a big part of their pass rush as well, because a thigh injury has shelved Alex Gordon, the emerging star at left outside linebacker. He too will not dress tonight. So the Jets, despite being 2-point favorites tonight, are minus 2 essential ingredients. And Dan Dierdorf, they take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have to be feeling real good about themselves, 5-1, especially after their performance last week, down 17-0 against Indianapolis, and then that brilliant second half.
Well, down 17-0, Al, booed at home for the first time in a long time, and it hurt them, and they responded with really a high caliber of play. And this is a Buffalo Bills squad you have to keep in mind. They haven't been in the playoffs since 1981. They haven't had a winning season since 81. That's when Chuck Knox is the coach, Joe Ferguson is the quarterback, Joe Cribbs is the running back, and it's a whole different club now. It's Kelly, and it's Cornelius Bennett, it's Conlon, it's Bruce Smith, but they're all young. They need to learn how to win big games. I think last week was a big step, and here tonight before a national audience, their old nemesis, the New York Jets, at 5-1, I think this is a hurdle that if the Buffalo Bills can get over, they're certainly on their way to the playoffs.
And tonight, the Buffalo Bills appear in a Monday night telecast for the first time since 1984. They've not won a Monday night game since 1981. So here they are as we wrap up Week 7 in the National Football League. The Bills and the Jets on top. There's Miami at 4-3, knocking off San Diego yesterday. New England rebounding and knocking off Cincinnati after they were destroyed by Green Bay the prior week. And Indianapolis, favored by many to win the division, mired in last place. The Colts are 2-5. So the Buffalo Bills to kick off, and Scott Norwood, who's having a brilliant year and has been instrumental in 3 of their victories, to kick off. As the Jets receive, JoJo Townsell has been bothered with a hamstring pull, but there he is, number 83, along with the defensive back, Bobby Humphrey. So a very big game for the Jets, because there's a huge difference between being a half game back and 2.5 back. And, of course, a loss would drop them behind Miami and into third place. So from the Meadowlands on a beautiful night, here we go. Townsell takes the kick at the 5. Out past the 20, and then taken down at the 28-yard line. The tackle made by Sherman Cockcroft. So now the Jets, and Ken O'Brien leading the Jets, part of that class of 83, one of 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round in 83. And, of course, another of the 6 was Jim Kelly. And offensively, they begin tonight with Freeman McNeil and Roger Vick as their running back, and a double tight end setup with Schuler not starting and not even in uniform, Dunn and Griggs, with Toon, number 88, going in motion on first down. And O'Brien going right to the air and nearly has it picked off at the 41-yard line by Nate Odoms. He was right there and couldn't hold on. So the Bills blow a golden opportunity at the outset, and O'Brien gets a major break on the first play of the game. Offensively now, McNeil and Vick, and we'll also see a lot of Johnny Hector. Toon and Walker are the wideouts, and again, Griggs is one tight end, and we'll see a lot of Dunn. Criswell starting at left tackle. Dave Cadigan, their number 1 draft choice, is hurt. So that could be a problem, in as much as Bruce Smith will line up over him. On 2nd and 10, the inside handoff to Freeman McNeil. And he takes it out to the 31 for a gain of about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Shane Conlon in on the stop. Now the Bills defensively, a basic 3-4, still a reclamation project with Smerlis, a former Pro Bowler, and Bruce Smith at right end, number 78. They're great linebackers, and the big man, of course, is Bennett, number 55. And then the secondary, last week Indianapolis picked on Burrows. Odoms on the other side, who missed the golden chance for the interception. Leonard Smith came over from the Cardinals, and Kelso comes back off a concussion last week. 3rd down and 7. With Griggs going in motion, O'Brien out of the shotgun. Has time, throws, incomplete. Freeman McNeil, and a flag is down, had gotten behind Shane Conlon, and we have a penalty, and the penalty is against the Jets.
And it'll be against number 61, Jeff Criswell, the left tackle.
Number 61, offense, Decline. Fourth down.
Criswell, I think, is a guy we're going to be talking about a lot tonight because he has really drawn the tough task of having to come in on short notice and play against Bruce Smith. One of the great defensive players in the game is Smith, and on that time, Criswell really just put the horse collar to him and dragged him to the ground.
And last week, Criswell against Cincinnati was called for holding on 2 occasions. Prokop to kick for the Jets, and Errol Tucker to receive for Buffalo, nearly blocked. And it takes a good Jets bounce down to the 25-yard line. Tucker fields it there and is tackled at the 29. It was Rob Riddick who does it all on the special teams, who nearly blocked it. It turns out to be a 44-yard kick and a 4-yard return. And now a look at the Buffalo offense as the Bills have the ball for the first time tonight. Jim Kelly, again, part of that class of 83, but he opted to play in the USFL and then signed with Buffalo in 86, so he makes his first appearance in a Monday night game. Thurman Thomas is a good-looking rookie out of Oklahoma State. Jamie Mueller is coming off an outstanding game last week. They are minus Chris Burkett. He is on the inactive list. His knee, injured last week against Indianapolis, did not respond. Mueller for a gain of 2 out to the 30-yard line. Kyle Clifton, the inside linebacker, 59, in on the tackle. Mueller getting the start at fullback, second year out of Little Benedictine College. Wolford, Richard Cole, Vogler came back last week. He had been on injured reserve at right guard. And Devlin, and it's a pretty solid offensive line for Buffalo. At the 30-yard line, 2nd and 9. Trumaine Johnson split to the left, and Andre Reed, who caught 2 touchdown passes last week, goes in motion. Kelly to throw, over the middle to Reed, and he gets tackled at the 34-yard line. Andre Reed making his 36th catch of the year. He now leads the conference, breaking the tie with Mickey Schuler, the inactive Jet. Defensively, Gastineau, Mercereau, who was a replacement player last year and won a job, and Marty Lyons having a big year. Cole, Benson, Clifton, and MacArthur are the linebackers, and the secondary with 2 rookies. Steve at right corner and Eric McMillan at free safety. Ronnie Harmon comes into the game, number 33, and he is split wide to the left. Their third down specialist. It's 3rd and 4, and Harmon goes in motion. Kelly from the shotgun. Time, man wide open over the middle. First down at the 47. Trumaine Johnson making the catch, and he figures to see a lot of action tonight with Burkett injured.
4 wide receivers in there. It's kind of hard to do anything but go to his own defense, and Trumaine Johnson came down, turned it in, found the opening right there, and gets the completion. Well thrown ball. Rich Miano was there a little short, but the Bills, with the 4 wide receivers, make it pay off.
I think you make a good point there, Frank. With the 4 wide receivers, they really dictate zone coverage, and they run the routes accordingly, and that time Trumaine Johnson effectively broke it off just about 2 yards underneath that deep umbrella.
Bills at the Jet 46-yard line, and this is Thurman Thomas, who picks up 3 to the 43. It'll be 2nd down and 7. No score, 11:30 remaining first quarter.
And Dan, a little ominous too, with the 4 wide receivers, you should be able to get a little more pressure than the Jets were able to get on Kelly when he got that big completion.
Well, I think we're going to go back and talk a little bit about what the loss of Alex Gordon is going to mean to the Jets tonight. He's normally an outside linebacker, but at 6'5", 245, he lines up at defensive end on nickel situation. And in many ways, next to Gastineau, is their most effective pass rusher, and the Jets are going to miss him dearly tonight.
The longtime Steeler, Robin Cole, takes his place. Kelly's pass caught by Reed. First down at the 30-yard line. So Andre Reed, who figures to see a lot of action tonight, he would figure anyway, but especially in the absence of Burkett, already has caught 2 tonight.
Working against Bobby Humphrey, the former wide receiver, has turned into a fine defensive back, but he carried it upfield, and that ball was on the way even before the break by Reed.
Well, the move that Reed put on Humphrey almost put Humphrey on the ground. We saw him come into the corner of our shot there, and he was down on all 4s. That break to the sideline, that unexpected by Humphrey.
1st and 10, Buffalo at the Jet 30-yard line. Mueller taking it to the 26-yard line, and Rich Miano, the strong safety, number 36, in on the tackle.
How many times, though, have we seen Joe Walton's Jets apparently nicked up, hurt, bruised, undermanned. And when you think that they're at a point in a ball game or a season where they really are out of it, they just seem to play their best football. I remember a Monday night game last year against the Patriots. We all thought that the Patriots were really riding the better position going into that game, and the Jets just routed them.
Walton, the off-maligned Walton, is the only coach in Jet history with a winning record. Flags down, and Mueller carries inside the 25. And it was Mercero, number 94, who jumped. Dick Jorgensen, the referee tonight.
That is so difficult to be the nose guard. You can't be more than 18 inches from the mouth of the quarterback when he's barking out signals.
Number 94.
Watch Jim Kelly barking out the signals, and you can see Mercero, who just a couple of feet away. And when a quarterback turns up the volume and really gives it a little inflection, it's really quite often that it's the nose guard that flinches and falls across the ball like that.
And most defensive linemen, even this early in the game, they think they have a rhythm of it. A lot of quarterbacks are repetitious. They'll go on the same count over and over and over, and Mercero perhaps just guessing with Kelly, and it gets to 5.
Tough part of the field, though, to guess.
2nd and 1 at the 21. And it's Mueller. And Mueller last week, early on in the game, fumbled. He thought that that would probably do it for him. He'd be out for a while, but Marv Levy put him right back in there. And he gained 70 yards on the ground and played a very big part in the Buffalo victory over the Colts.
And, of course, all that offense was basically in the second half as they came back from 17 down. Mueller carried the ball 15 times last week. And he was even stunned.
That graphic tells you Buffalo has really bogged down deep in enemy territory. And they are inside the 17, and some miscommunication and mistiming on that play, but still he turns it into a 3-yard gain, does Mueller. It'll be 2nd down and about 7.
Frank, I think it's Monday Night Football that causes problems between quarterbacks and running backs in trying to execute a simple handoff. I think back to last week and the problem that the Eagles had in trying to just get the ball into the hands of a running back. They must have fouled up 5 or 6 times.
They'll tell you no, but you kind of wonder about it. The Bills have been off Monday Night Football for a long time. They bring out one of the fine young quarterbacks in Jim Kelly, but that was obviously a mess up in the backfield.
2nd and 7. Thurman Thomas for about 2. Stopped by Robin Cole and Mark Gastineau, and upcoming will be a 3rd down and 5.
They've got themselves in a real fine drive going. They're able to move the ball on the ground. It gives them, well, under Teddy Marchibroda, really a kind of a conservative offense along with Jim Ringo, more like the days of George Allen where they both worked. But they also like play-action pass, so they like it a great deal down here. They have a big tight end in Metzelars, and they like to go with the play-action down here, but now they come out and give us the shotgun.
3rd and 5 at the 12. 8 minutes to go in the quarter, no score. Good protection for Kelly. Looks for Reed, and he drops the ball at the 5-yard line. So what would have been a 1st down instead is an incomplete pass, and Norwood and the field goal unit come out.
One of the interesting things the Jets did there, they went it with 5 defensive linemen. That may be some of their compensation for the loss of Gordon, but really ineffective with a pass rush. Kelly had all the time he wanted, and give credit to the Jets secondary. Some good coverage that time. Williams, Miano right there gets his hand, interrupts the flight of the ball, and really causes Reed to lose concentration.
Norwood to attempt the field goal. A 30-yard attempt, and the kick is good. So Norwood now with 60 points. And it's 7:48 to go in the quarter. Buffalo leads the Jets 3-0.
When it comes to owner loyalty, Every domestic and import car division takes a backseat to Ford, because Ford owners in households all over America have proven their loyalty to Ford by buying another Ford.
Winning the world over. You're winning. Have you been behind the wheel? In a Ford. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
It happens every 7 seconds. Every 7 seconds of every hour of every business day, America puts another new Epson computer or printer to work. It's true. When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
7:48 to play, first quarter at Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. It was a gorgeous day in the New York area today. Beautiful night. Full house here. Yesterday, a full house as well looked on as the Giants beat the Detroit Lions 30-10 at the Meadowlands. 3-0 Buffalo with Norwood to kick off.
Great weekend for the NFL. A record-setting weekend around the league.
930,000 tickets sold. That's an all-time record for one weekend. Norwood's kick is taken at the 11-yard line by Kurt Sohn. And Sohn brings it back out to the 26. Stopped by Scott Radisick. And Walton with some final words, some parting information for O'Brien. And there it is, the new all-time record for one weekend's attendance.
All of this in the middle of a wild World Series. Quite an October.
And of course, that 934,000 incorporates the crowd here at the Meadowlands tonight. But that's well ahead of a 66,000 per game average around the NFL. Things are alive and well.
Jets from the 26 as Freeman McNeil, and a flag is thrown. McNeil takes it out to the 32-yard line. And Dick Jorgensen will tell us in a moment that it's holding against the Jets.
Boy, this is what Joe Walton did not want, to get into a must-pass situation. He would have loved to have been able to move the ball, control it on the ground. Now he's going to be in a tough situation against a very tough pass rush.
Holding, number 81, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Tight end Billy Griggs, and again we mentioned Schuler, their number one tight end, not even dressed tonight, so Griggs will see a lot of action.
And good aim that time by the official. He actually hits Griggs in the back with the flag. You see Griggs blocking down on Art Still, and there comes the flag, and look at it, hits Griggs right in the back of the helmet.
Is that embarrassing or not, Dan?
I saw one time a flag thrown at Conrad Dobler stuck right in his face mask.
And he ate it.
And he ate it. He was blinded, though, and in some ways even made him more effective.
Wild book he's got out. Some of the great stories. I guess you come off unscathed in that new book.
Relatively. They Call Me Dirty, I think that's the name of it. You talk about an aptly named book. I'm just surprised it wasn't in crayon.
Scratchings of some sort.
First and 20 from the 17-yard line, and Freeman McNeil for a gain of 1, stopped by Shane Conlon, number 58. And of course the crowd always gets on Walton for his conservative play calling, and on first and 20 some boos originate from the full house here as it's 2nd and 19 now.
He told me Saturday, he said, I know I'm going to get some boos. He said, because I'm going to have to do some things they're not going to like with Schuler not out there. And there they are. We've talked about how they have surprised us many times over. There's Mickey Schuler starting things on the sidelines, unable to get into the ball game. But he's going to have to do some things that he does not want to do because of his lineup.
On 2nd and 19, O'Brien finds a wide open McNeil, but he's too wide open. He started to turn around before he looked it into his hands, and it's 3rd and 19 now.
Well, it's really kind of a shame that this handicap the Jets are having to work under tonight, and this is certainly a ball that Freeman McNeil just has to catch. O'Brien holds on to it to the last minute, but boy, you just hit a guy right in the jersey like that. He can't drop it, but if you had to pick one guy on defense, Frank, that Joe Walton couldn't afford to lose, you'd have to say that that player is Alex Gordon. And if you look at one guy offensively, other than his quarterback, Kenny O'Brien, it's probably Mickey Schuler that he couldn't afford to lose.
He turned white when he got the medical report on Saturday. He just did not believe it.
O'Brien is 0 for his first 3. It's 3rd down and 19 from the 18-yard line. O'Brien sacked, and that's nothing new. His interception rate has always been low. The opposite side of the coin, and of course you've got Smith now going at it with Banker.
Well, Banker took exception to the little dance that Bruce Smith does, celebrating a sack, and you know, that kind of stuff is going to happen. Nobody wants to be shown up on national television, even though it wasn't Ted Banker. Ted Banker playing left guard. It's actually left tackle Jeff Criswell, number 61 here, who works against Smith. Watch the spin move back to the inside by Bruce Smith. He knows he's too far upfield, spins back to the inside to get the sack. Now, hey, that's a major league play.
Not sure that Criswell has seen a whole lot of that.
No, he hasn't seen a lot of that. Very few tackles in the league. But here's what gets Ted Banker going a little bit. Now, you know, this was the kind of thing that Gastineau got started. You're not supposed to be able to do it. The officials have been a little bit lax in letting it fly. But, hey, you're going to have hard feelings.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're in a 2-point stance. You can flinch a little bit like that.
Prokop, whose last kick was almost blocked, gets this one away. And it bounces at the 49-yard line as Eric Tucker peeled off instead of making the catch, and that cost him about 20 yards. 5:59 to go in the first quarter. 3-0 Buffalo.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva?
It's big.
It's small. Sort of a big smallness.
Cutest little thing.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price?
It's small.
Small.
It's nothing.
Ford Festiva. Call it big, call it small, call it yours for only $56.99.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
At UPS, we're changing the face of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. And let's face it, a drachma saved is a drachma earned. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Tony, what are you eating now?
Fruitful Bran.
Yeah, it's peaches and raisins.
Hey, Tony, that looks good.
It is. It's Fruitful Bran. It's apples and dates.
You just said it was peaches and raisins.
Well, it was.
Don't lie to your father.
Well, now it's raisins, apples, and dates.
Didn't you just hear your mother?
Hey, it is apples and dates.
Give me the box, Rosa. I'll decide.
Only Fruitful Bran has so many fruits, you get a different fruitful combination in every bite.
It's peaches, raisins, and dates.
So Kellogg's Fruitful Bran. It's never the same bite twice.
For this flashback, let's go back to the pre-merger days. The AFL championship game in 1964. Jack Kemp was the quarterback then for the Buffalo Bills. Now the congressman hitting Glenn Bass here. One of the highlights in a 20-7 Buffalo victory over the San Diego Chargers to win the AFL title. Pleasant memories in Buffalo, and they'd like to have a few more. The Bills and the Eagles have gone the longest right now in the NFL without appearing in a playoff game. As you look at Mark Gastineau, it's been 7 years, 1981, since Philadelphia or Buffalo went to the playoffs.
Buffalo hasn't had a winning season since going back to Chuck Knox in '81.
Buffalo takes over 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line, and Kelly airs it out for Reed. He makes the catch down the sideline. Touchdown, and no flag. He beats Humphrey and Miano. 65 yards as Kelly hits Andre Reed, who's already caught 3 tonight, and with 5:49 to go, it's 9-0 going on 10-0.
And I'll tell you what this is. It's a situation of Bobby Humphrey giving Andre Reed the outside, knowing he's got help from Miano, but Miano takes a very poor angle. Look at him. He's going to come up short. That free safety has got to be downfield from that receiver, Frank. That's Miano's play all the way.
Oh, and you know, they picked that up in the films. They were waiting till they got the zone. and Humphrey came up. He tried to do the bump, and he let Reed off with a lot of speed. Miano did take a bad angle, but he came off with a lot of speed, and that ball was delivered absolutely perfectly.
No argument.
Norwood, his 61st point of the season. The extra point making it 10-0. Another look now.
Good protection up front. Look at the sight line that Jim Kelly has, and he just drops this in perfectly to Andre Reed. Credit the Bills with perfect execution. A mistake by the Jets, and it cost them a touchdown.
For an ice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
All right.
Right now, having fun in a Ford Ranger is a whole lot easier to do. Get up to $500 cash bonus on the best-selling compact truck in America, the 1988 Ford Ranger.
It hurts. Sinus pressure and headache. It really hurts. Sinutab combines the painkiller and Tylenol with the decongestant and Sudafed to give you more than either one alone. It stops the pain. Sinutab stops the pain.
Tomorrow, an ABC News exclusive on a new attempt to swap American hostages for U.S. arms to Iran. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Humphrey on the left, Miano on the right, the two men beaten by Reed. The Bills were taking some heat because a lot of people felt they didn't have enough speed at wide receiver. They needed to go out and perhaps trade for the type of receiver you'd call a burner. Reed answered his critics last week. He caught a 58-yarder in the victory over Indianapolis, and tonight exceeds that with a 65-yard touchdown reception. Buffalo on top by a score of 10-0 as Norwood kicks off for the third time in the game. Fielded at the 13 by JoJo Townsell. Flag goes down as he brings it back out to the 26, and Hal Garner makes the tackle.
Let's take a look at the touchdown again. Here's Andre Reed, who's going to run nothing but a simple fly pattern. Bobby Humphrey's going to give him the outside, but here's safety Rich Miano. Now watch his angle as he drops back. Humphrey's going to give Reed the outside, knowing he has help from Miano. But right here is where Miano makes a mistake. He's going to come flat when he ought to go deep on that play. Watch how he underestimates the speed of Andre Reed. Give the Bills credit for a well-executed play, but I think Rich Miano just made a mistake, not realizing how fast Andre Reed really is.
Good read by Kelly, too. Had Miano got over there to cover Reed, he had Metzelards underneath, and he would have picked him up for a big gainer.
The penalty was against the Jets for an illegal block thrown by John Galvin, and that moves the start of this drive back to the 12-yard line. 5:41 to go, first quarter, 10-0 Buffalo. Fake draw, McNeil stays in the block, and O'Brien slings one out. A flag goes down. The catch is made by K.D. Dunn, the number 3 tight end, who goes out of bounds at the 38, and a marker at the 25.
The Bills in a defense, and they're going to stay in that defense with Mickey Schuler out of the offense. They're going to cover that tight end with the linebacker.
Holding, number 50. Holding, defense, incline, first down.
Billy Griggs was picked up on that coverage, or K.D. Dunn picked up on that coverage by Bentley, an inside linebacker, and I'm sure the Bills are going to try to get away with that all night long and double cover on the outside, Walker and Al Toon. But if they keep coming back to their tight end, Griggs and or Dunn, then they're going to have to get out of that and put the strong safety on him. But right now, they're trying to get away with the linebacker.
That's Dunn's first catch of the year from the 38-yard line. The fake to Vick. He stays in the block. Good protection, and Toon leaps up but can't make the catch. Good coverage that time from Odoms, number 37, and Mark Kelso, the free safety, 38, helping out as well.
You saw the reverse of what we saw a short while ago. You saw Kelso over there helping Odoms. Odoms bumped at the line of scrimmage, and then he just dropped with Al Toon all the way. But that was the absolute best coverage you could get out of that zone they were in.
Thing of it is, that's a pass into that type of a coverage, covered so well by Buffalo that maybe it's going to get completed 2 or 3 times out of 100, and Al Toon almost pulls it off. That's the kind of an athlete number 88 is. He went up and almost brought that uncatchable ball in.
And it's one of the few times they have sent Toon deep this season. On 2nd and 10, Johnny Hector's first carry of the game takes him out to the 43. Toon has been more of the possession receiver. Al Toon, coming in tonight, had averaged less than 11 yards a catch. The big play man has been Wesley Walker, averaging almost 19 a catch.
And Al Toon has talked about it before. He's gone public and said, hey, I'm capable of making the big plays. My teammates know it, but I'm a team player, and if I'm helping the team by working underneath, you know, part of the problem they want him to work that route underneath is, first of all, he's tough enough to run it. He's a big man, and after he makes the catch, a lot of times he breaks the tackle and makes something positive out of a short pass.
Briggs in motion out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4, and a flag was down before the inception of the play. Several flags in the first quarter.
And this number one, 63, offense, still 3rd down.
Against Ted Banker, and yet another penalty against the Jets.
Game clock operator, reset the clock at 4:44.
That much time left in the first quarter. Buffalo on top 10-0, and now the Jets will have a 3rd down and 9, and the Jets have already been penalized 4 times for 32 yards.
And a 3rd and 9 is a whole lot different than a 3rd and 4. Joe Walton, who calls all the plays, sends the play in with Freeman McNeil. So far, they've been double covering both the outside receivers, Toon and Walker. And does leave the tight end available for the linebacker.
Toon and Walker are both sent to the right. O'Brien looks that way, finds nobody open, and then is down to the 36-yard line. And we mentioned before, he doesn't throw very many interceptions, and the flip side is you take a lot of sacks. He eats the ball a lot, is what it amounts to. Always has.
And I think, Al, I think we see the worst part of Kenny O'Brien's game, and that is after the heat is on him and the pressure collapses the pocket. A good look at Bruce Smith, actually being blocked pretty effectively by K.D. Dunn, the tight end. He gets in on the play late, but Kenny O'Brien, when the pocket sags around him, not the kind of athlete who just naturally can escape that kind of adversity.
Broke off the kick for the 3rd time in the quarter. And it's down at the 33-yard line. So a short punt, and here comes Kelly and the Bills with 4:02 to play in the quarter. 10-0 Buffalo.
It goes with the guys that hang in the sky. It goes with the lows. It goes with the highs. It goes with the girls who live in the sun. It's part of the job and part of the fun. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. Weekly, it's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. It goes with the boys that play in the dirt. It goes with the joy. It goes with the hurt. It goes with the men you can't fix in. It's there when you lose, and there when you win. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. Wrigley, it's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America.
Triple jump checkers is what we're going to play.
You gotta scratch off the right squares, but anybody can win.
And do you know what you can win?
Listen to this. I'll play, but I want to know.
We can win a Pontiac Grand Prix.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
That's Motor Trend's Car of the Year, 1988. I want a Grand Prix. To win $1 million. On the Carnival Cruise. But nobody ever wins these things. James won $100 last week. Look, I'll show you can win, all right? You got it. All right. Play triple jump checkers at Burger King.
Last
year, the 49ers handed Chicago one of their worst defeats ever. Now the Bears want revenge on ABC's Monday Night Football next week.
.402 to play, first quarter. The Buffalo Bills on top by a score of 10-0. And here comes Kelly and the Bills from their own 34-yard line on 1st and 10. The sole setback is Mueller, and he finds no room at all. He's wrapped up by MacArthur, among others. And number 54 as well, Troy Benson. Minimal gain, call it 2nd down and 10 with 3:45 left in the first quarter. Very big game, obviously, for both teams. The Jets, of course, could pull to within a half game. Instead, a loss would drop them to third, 2.5 back. And Buffalo will play 5 of its last 7 on the road. So they would like to build up a sizable advantage in the AFC East. 2nd down and 10 from the 34-yard line. Kelly is under pressure, but dumps it off and nearly has it picked off at midfield. No receivers in the area. And Eric McMillan almost had the intercept. 3rd down and 10.
It looked like Jim Kelly was a little surprised by how quickly the Jets penetrated. It was a designed rollout, and he got a little bit to the outside and really got lucky. That could have been the big play the New York Jets were looking for. MacArthur, the guy in there putting the heat on Jim Kelly. And right now the onus, I guess unfairly, has fallen on the Jets defense. Their offense is doing nothing. It's up to them to try to make a big play, make something happen.
Kelly from the shotgun on 3rd down and 10. Protected well. It's tipped and then caught. And the Bills get a tremendous break as Flip Johnson pulls in the deflection and goes in for the touchdown. So after the near intercept, Carl Howard with the tip, and Flip Johnson scores the touchdown.
Flip Johnson in the game tonight because of the injury to Chris Burkett. Just happened to be there. Carl Howard went for the ball into the air, went right into the arms, and the big break that we were talking about for the Jets has gone to the Bills.
Well, Johnson is not even the intended receiver. The intended receiver is about 5 yards towards the middle of the field. Johnson's just running a pattern against James Hasty and really handcuffed pretty good, but there's Howard's bat. They were trying to go to Rob Riddick. And Flip Johnson just standing there, a spectator on this play, if you will, right there. And that's just about as bad as it can go for the New York Jets.
Awful night sometimes just to be in the right place.
That is the first reception of Flip Johnson's career. He was on injured reserve last year. He gets a break tonight because Burkett is inactive. Not a bad way to make the first catch of your career on Monday Night Football for a touchdown.
And you talk about things just going horribly bad for the Jets. Hasty has good coverage on the inside. Howard has superb coverage on Riddick. He just isn't capable of pulling it in. I mean, that might have been a touchdown the other way for the New York Jets.
Howard looked like he was trying to spike it.
I don't... and look at the Buffalo Bills, down 17-0 last week. And here they are this week, quickly up 17-0.
There it is again. But for Joe Walton and the Jets, they're in the position they absolutely did not want to be in, and that is trying to play catch-up with a tough defensive team with Cornelius Bennett and Bruce Smith, Smirlis. They are going to feel the pass rush.
Not only that, but the Jets really don't have the type of offense that can explode and score a lot of points that quickly. 17-0 Buffalo. Marv Levy has to feel very good about things. You go back to the 2-minute warning last week when they trailed 17-0 against Indianapolis. They played an almost perfect 32 minutes, and tonight, out they come, and in the first 12 minutes of the game, lead 17-zip. And Kelly already with 166 yards in the first 12 minutes of the game.
And keep in mind that Kenny O'Brien 1 for 5. A couple of those are dropped balls. I think of the one that he threw perfectly to Freeman McNeil that he dropped. And that's the only thing that's gone wrong for Buffalo tonight.
Right.
The football fell off the tee. You think Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett and Shane Conlon and Darryl Talley aren't tossing a few more coals into the boiler.
Boy, they're tuning the wires right now. You know that. They're going to turn it loose. They'll just disregard run.
They may disregard Kenny O'Brien.
Norwood, and again, as Dan said, the only thing that's gone wrong tonight, and if that's the only thing that goes wrong, you're in great shape.
Look how he has it cocked. It's all the way back, and it just barely is staying on that tee. He's setting it much further back than most kickers.
It's crooked as well. Got it off center. Oh, they're resorting to the dreaded hold. Oh, look at this.
Now he can really cock.
Here's an instant replay, folks. This is our super slow-mo reverse angle
from the end zone.
So with Tucker holding, this time the kick is away, taken at the 7-yard line by JoJo Townsell. And he brings it back out to the 28-yard line. He's tackled there by Don Graham. So O'Brien trailing by 17. Next week, great matchup. 49ers coming off their win over the Rams yesterday. Tremendous day for Roger Craig against the Chicago Bears, 6-1, and on top of the NFC Central at 9 Eastern time from Soldier Field.
Bears again yesterday contributing to the depletion of quarterbacks in the NFL.
We had that same game on Monday night a year ago, only it was out in San Francisco.
And the 49ers rocked 41-0 from the 28-yard line. McNeil gets dragged down by Bruce Smith for a 2-yard loss. And again, it was Smith, only recently activated. He missed the first 4 games because of the drug suspension.
And he just simply crashes to the inside. Criswell, I think, even sensed that he was going to the inside, but Bruce Smith, physically no match for Jeff Criswell. And all I can think about is last week's game with Reggie White. This is the other dominating defensive lineman in the game today in that same class with a Reggie White, Bruce Smith.
And a lot of people like Reggie White because of the team's record. They have not seen a lot of Bruce Smith on national television. He's pretty special.
2nd and 12 from the 26-yard line. Flag is thrown, and O'Brien throws it away.
And we're liable to get a holding call again against the Jets, and it's going from bad to worse for the guys in the green and white. Quickly.
Holding, number 63, offense, decline.
This time it's Ted Banker.
Let's guess and see if it's Bruce Smith. Isn't one of the guys involved for Buffalo? This time Smith collapses down to the inside, lines up across from Banker, works to the outside, and I don't know about that. If Banker was holding him, you think it might have had a little bit more of an effect on Bennett than it did.
Good job by Criswell, as you saw, sliding off, leaving Smith to Banker. Criswell picking up the linebacker. He did his share.
3rd and 12 from the 26. O'Brien under pressure again and sacked at the 14-yard line. A tremendous move by Bruce Smith.
Well, going to the Pro Bowl right here now.
Well, it's the same move that got him the sack the last time the Jets had the ball. That reverse spin back to the inside. Working against Criswell. He thinks Criswell believes he's going upfield. The minute he senses that, Smith does that spin back to the inside. And what's special about this spin is how quick it is and how he never loses his forward momentum. He's always going upfield, even during the course of that spin. I mean, there just aren't but 2 or 3 guys in the game capable of making a move like that.
Prokop, it's his 4th punt, and when you have to punt 4 times in a quarter, you know you're in trouble. Your team is. It bounces at the 46 and is down there by Billy Grigg. And Kelly will take over on the other side of the 50. Look here at sacks. Joe Namath played 140 games in his career. He was sacked 175 times. O'Brien has played less than half, 60, and he's been sacked 21 times more than Namath already.
Yeah, but let's keep in mind from what we've seen so far, Joe Namath or Randall Cunningham or Fran Tarkenton is going down against a move like Bruce Smith just made on Criswell. Nobody's going to escape that kind of penetration.
From the 46-yard line, the Bills on top 17-0. Kelly stepping up, and stepping out and sliding down at the 39-yard line for a gain of 7. And the way things are going, the rallying cry for Joe Walton at halftime might be remember the Raiders 3 weeks ago when we had a Monday night game in which Denver was out in front 24-0 at the half. And the next thing you know, the Raiders were not only back in the game but had won it in overtime.
Unfortunately, what we watched with the Jets on that last series is exactly what we talked about. They've got themselves in a position where they have to throw. The Bills know that, and they just can't handle that pass rush.
2nd and 4. And the first carry of the night here for Ronnie Harmon, who is their 3rd down specialist. They like to use him as a receiver. He doesn't carry the ball all that often. And he is stopped here at the 40-yard line for a loss of 1.
Good work that time by Kyle Clifton, the inside linebacker, reading that play. And this is what has to happen. The Jets defensively have to stiffen, come up with a big play, an interception, force a fumble. That's the only way they're going to get back in this ball game. Make something special happen defensively.
Shotgun on 3rd and 5 from the 40. They rush 5, but the protection is very good, and the catch is made by Reed. Already his 4th reception, and a first down at the 31-yard line with 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Jets bringing the blitz, and that forces the man-for-man coverage, and Reed once again wide open. Let's take a look at Mark Gastineau coming in with 7 sacks. Tried to take it on the inside, dealing with Mercereau, and picked off. Good pass protection, but again Reed got himself in single coverage.
What Andre Reed needs, 7 catches tonight to tie for the lead in the NFL. He's well on his way.
Roger Craig and Keith Jackson have each caught 42. A roll by Kelly. The catch by Metzelars, the tight end, his first catch of the night, and that's another first down at the 13-yard line. And that will end the first quarter. All Buffalo. Totally Buffalo. End of the first quarter, 17-0 Buffalo. And we'll return to Giant Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. Run with it.
Now get a $1,000 cash bonus on the 1988 Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe.
If you think you might need some new hand tools, think about this. Sears Craftsman hand tools are built so tough, we guarantee them forever. And we mean forever.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't. All right, let's have it.
After a long day of hard knocks.
That's right.
Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush.
Here, this one don't buck so hard.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
This is ABC.
For the office of Supreme Court Justice, the Erie County Bar Association rates Jerome Gorski A Superior. Jerome Gorski, graduated from Niagara University and Georgetown University Law School. Jerome Gorski served as law clerk to Watergate Judge John Sirica. Jerome Gorski has a quarter-century of courtroom experience as a trial lawyer. This year, our leading choice for Supreme Court Justice is Jerome Gorski for all the right reasons.
Reaction from Bills fans after the game on Nightcast.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Chrysler. Chrysler believes a luxury car should be a great driving car. At Chrysler, we're driving to be the best.
Second quarter begins. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. Buffalo on top 17-0. Buffalo driving, 1st and 10 at the Jets' 12-yard line. Jim Kelly has already thrown for 195 yards in one quarter as Harmon takes it to the 7. The Jets coming in tonight defensively had yielded an average through the air of 182 yards a game. Kelly in the first quarter, 195 yards passing.
Job that time by Mark Gastineau staying at home and getting Harmon's cutback. Staggering imbalance. 218 total yards to 13. That's not often you see them any farther out of kilter than we see them there.
2nd and 5 from the 8. Give it to Harmon again. Moves to the outside, turns the corner, and Harmon gets bumped out of bounds at the 1.
Good move by Ronnie Harmon, the former first-round draft pick, that they use almost exclusively now as a receiver. Dipped inside, that play designed to go inside. Took a good look at it, broke it to the outside, and almost got the corner.
And he picks up a first down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. First minute of play in the 2nd quarter. Buffalo on top 17-0.
If you're a player for the New York Jets, and I think everyone who's ever played the game has found themselves in this situation, your head is just reeling. You can hardly believe what's happening, facing the prospect here of going down 24-0 so early in the ballgame.
Rob Riddick is their short yardage man. He's the tailback in the eye. He has the ball, and Riddick is over for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. He's also returned a fumble for a touchdown.
I mean, look at the Jets defensive team standing there. I mean, there aren't even expressions of anger. These guys are stunned. It's not that they don't care, but they're just in a state of disbelief right now, wondering how can things go this wrong this quickly. A good shot there on the low, flat backs of the Bill offensive line. They get the surge, the hole's inside, and Riddick might have jumped a little early. Was lucky he got in the end zone.
3rd time he's rushed for a score, returned that fumble for a score. He's also caught a touchdown pass. So 5 TDs this season. Norwood in for the extra point. Buffalo has scored on all 4 of its possessions, and it's been a nightmarish first half for the New York Jets. 14-16 to play in the first half. Buffalo on top 24-0.
I hear General Motors is not happy. More and more, their owners find only one luxury car gives them everything. Chrysler New Yorker. V6, anti-lock brakes, the most advanced transmission, Ultra Drive, and Crystal Key. Better owner care than any GM sedan, even Rolls or Mercedes. What did Chrysler do to make GM unhappy? Everything.
There's only one place for that original taste. Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right.
It's great. But we wanted a Bud Light. Bud Light!
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Now go get pizza.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Mark Gastineau and the New York Jet defense being shredded through the first 16 minutes of the game. 24-0 Buffalo. Jets coming in favored by 2.
Kenny O'Brien telling Joe Walton, how about if we work on the running game?
Work on that clock. Very worried look on Joe Walton's face, as well it should be. Hostile crowd here, by the way.
That says it all. That's one of those stats, and here's another one that translates directly to the scoreboard tonight.
Those numbers don't lie. Norwood kicks off. This is Kurt Sohn from the 11-yard line. And the Fordhamite, whose Rams are 6-0 this season.
A Fordhamite?
Yes, a Fordhamite, as is our man Steve Hurt, our man for all seasons. The Rams are 6-0.
I know they're the Rams, but I mean, is it technically correct to refer to them as a Fordhamite? Or are you just winging it?
I'm just winging it, man. Absolutely.
Oh, I'd love to back you down.
Early to start winging, isn't it?
Yeah, very early. I mean, what is it, 10 o'clock, huh? Game is less than an hour old, and it's 24-0 Buffalo. And the Jets somehow, some way, with their relatively conservative offense, will try to climb back in from the 24-yard line. O'Brien with a swing pass to Hector. And Hector picks up a first down as he moves out to the 35-yard line. And that's the biggest cheer of the night.
Good call. It's actually a little screen, a one-man screen with Ted Banker out in front of it. And Banker gets the block for Hector, and he gets the first down. This is what you're really going to have to do if you're the Jets, because you can't just take a deep drop, try to go deep, because you don't have the time to do it. You're going to have to go with gimmicks, high percentage short passes. Again, keep in mind, Mickey Schuler, the fine tight end for the Jets, is not in there. So the outside men, Walker and Toon, are drawing double coverage all night.
That's the Jets' second first down of the game. Walker 85 in motion from the 35-yard line. Roger Vick takes it out to the 43-yard line, and Art Still, number 72, who's been quite a reclamation project, wore out his welcome in Kansas City. Frank Gans and the Chiefs coaching staff considered him a detriment to the team, but he played for Marv Levy when Levy coached there, and it's been a good year for him.
I used to play against Art Still when he was in his prime in Kansas City, and there was a 2 or 3 year span where I thought he was the best all-around defensive end in the game of football. Played the run, played the pass, goal line. This guy could do it all. A real catch for Levy and the Bills.
At the 43, it's second and a long 2. Hector escapes a tackle behind the line of scrimmage and then works his way out to the 44. It'll be 3rd and 1. Fred Smerlis, number 76, in on the tackle.
Another guy, if you want to talk about an older ball player that might be playing some of the best football of his career, the old BC grad Fred Smerlis. Multiple Pro Bowls for the Bills, and as Marv Levy is quick to point out, he doesn't seem to understand why he's playing so well at this stage of his career.
It helps when you put a couple of good men outside of him. We have not heard much from Cornelius Bennett, the linebacker, but he's a great one. But when you have a Smith on one side, a Still on the other, it's a little easier to play that tough spot, the nose tackle.
On 3rd down and 1, O'Brien gets it off, and it's caught by Griggs for a first down. And the Jets were lucky that play got off the way it commenced.
This is what the Jets have to do, because Griggs, K.D. Dunn, both of them replacing Mickey Schuler, are being covered with linebackers. And even though they are not known as receivers, mostly used in the blocking scheme of things with Joe Walton, they are open, they can handle the football, and they have now picked up a couple of big gainers with their tight end.
Let's watch this baby from the blimp. Good call on 3rd and 1 by Joe Walton. Look what that does. Look how it threw off the Bill defense. Absolutely no pass rush whatsoever. And it took the Buffalo defense completely by surprise.
The ultimate sky cam. Look out. Back it comes to O'Brien. He's going long. He's got Toon open. Makes the catch at the 15. Thrown out of bounds at the 9-yard line. And that's the type of play the Jets need. The crowd now gets back into the game.
Quiet him down for a little bit, and Westy Walker was also wide open for 6. The Bills bought it all the way. And you mentioned it a moment ago, Al, ordinarily this Jets team is very conservative. Here's the flea flicker, the toss by O'Brien. And O'Brien drifting back. McNeil turns around, spots him. Now, Kenny O'Brien doesn't see Westy Walker. He was wide open, but Al Toon is a big target and gets the first down near the 10-yard line.
Well, Al Toon was pretty wide open as well. Nobody anywhere near number 88.
1st and goal from the 9, and the Bills have been very vulnerable in 1st and goal situations over the past 2 years, and O'Brien hits Toon, who takes it to the 3-yard line.
And O'Brien is crushed by Bruce Smith. So dangerous when the right end gets loose, and that time Bruce Smith beats 2 New York Jets. Watch this, he's going to beat Criswell and Banker and come around, and look at that shot he puts on Kenny O'Brien.
That's 285 pounds of Bruce Smith. Here's Toon again, little drift to the outside. Now he'll V it right back. Sees the linebacker in front of him, sets up, but meanwhile, Kenny O'Brien was in deep trouble. He was just able to get it off. Good effort by O'Brien.
2nd down and goal from the 3 with Griggs going in motion. And the handoff to Hector, and he takes it to the 1. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
And a good drive here by the Jets. They're running some plays that are keeping the Bills a little bit off balance, and now that they're down in the must-do range, they're going to try to stuff it in.
We mentioned how difficult it's been for Buffalo to stop the opposition first and goal. As you can see, this year team 6 for 6. Last year 13 of 14 getting into the end zone. So 19 of the last 20 drives when the opposition has had a first and goal has resulted in a touchdown. And the Bills call a timeout here as the Jets come up on 3rd and goal at the 1. So timeout with 9:39 remaining in the half. 24-0 Buffalo.
There's a difference when you're flying.
Where are we going today?
I'm going to Grandma's house.
There's someone who shows how much they care.
I'm not going to go anywhere without you.
A smile, a tone of voice, and the willingness to try. When you love to fly, it shows.
Beauty has its price. The cars on the left and right cost over $50,000. The car in the middle costs under $15,000. This is Chrysler LeBaron Turbo. And at that price, it may well be the most beautiful car in the world. LeBaron, beauty with a passion for driving.
Up here, you catch them with experience. And when you've got them where you want them, you head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Busch.
How are those horses doing? What horses?
Head for the mountains of Busch beer.
Sunday, join Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. They take the court against international competition in the McDonald's Basketball Open. Live Sunday on ABC Sports.
So after a Buffalo timeout, they regroup. Here come the Jets. 3rd down and goal at the 1. Johnny Hector and Roger Vick are the running backs behind O'Brien. And Hector is the tailback in the eye. Briggs goes in motion. They give it to Hector. Walks in for the touchdown. Johnny Hector, who scored 11 rushing touchdowns last season in similar fashion. They'd love to give it to him deep down in enemy territory. And the Jets mount a very effective drive as they try to climb back into the game.
Superb play calling on the part of Joe Walton there also to get down there. Use the flea flicker, the first play on their possession, as we see Hector flying over the top once again. He came with a little screen, high percentage stuff, and it was very effective.
I think we saw the ball in Hector's arms for one reason, and it's exactly what he did. He times his leaps and gets up into the air higher and farther than any of the other Jet backs. That's why he's so effective on the goal line.
He had 11 touchdowns last year.
Pat Ryan holding for Pat Leahy's extra point. Hector gets it into the end zone, and the Jets don't roll over and die, down 24-0. Mount the drive and are now down by 17.
Again, the good surge up front, but no one in a blue jersey was in the air. No one was flying across that line of scrimmage to challenge Johnny Hector after he left the ground. And there's no way you can stop a running back once he gets up into the air unless you have someone in the air to counter him. And that time when Hector went up, nobody in a blue jersey anywhere in sight.
Look at Kenny Bryan. He is not your fiery, verbal sort of leader, but he is a tough quarterback. And you saw the look in his face after the Jets got into the end zone as he turned around and kind of snarled at them. Look, let's get something happening. We can do this. We just put on a great drive. Let's get it going.
Well, it's all for naught if the Jets defense doesn't stiffen. They have been getting pushed around at will by Buffalo and Jim Kelly. The New York Jet offense can do whatever they want to do, and it's not going to make a difference unless the Jets defensively start playing a little football.
So the Jets will kick off for the first time in the game. Back deep, Errol Tucker is the man in the middle, flanked by Ronnie Harmon and Flip Johnson. And Pat Leahy to kick off. Tucker from the 3. Out past the 20. And returns it to the 30-yard line. And so from there will the Bills begin this next drive. Here's a reminder, coming up Sunday at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central and Pacific, from the Laurel Racecourse in Maryland. Top horses from all over the world competing in the Budweiser International Horse Race. And then following that, the Boston Celtics go against European competition in the McDonald's Basketball Open, coming to you from Madrid, Spain. All coming your way Sunday on ABC Sports. 9:25 to play in the half. Bills 1st and 10 from the 30. Thurman Thomas and Carl Byram are the running backs. Byram in motion. Thomas with the ball. And Thomas fights his way out past the 30 to the 33. Tripped up by Troy Benson. Benson, the third-year inside linebacker out of Pittsburgh. The Jets, of course, not only minus Alex Gordon, we've talked about that, but Bob Preble on injured reserve. So they're minus 2 guys who would otherwise normally be starting tonight. Second and 7 at the 33. Kelly protected well. Over the middle, Reed has another catch and another first down as he takes it out to the 47. And Dan mentioned how important it was for the Jets defensively to stop the Bills on this drive. But here they are out near midfield now. 1st and 10 again.
Jets in another blitz, man for man. The rookie, James Hasty, all alone with Andre Reed.
And look at that move they put on him, the crossing pattern. A lot of veteran defensive backs would have got caught up in that wash. James Hasty learned a little something, but an effective pattern by Andre Reed, who, if he keeps this up, is going to come out of the game tonight as the NFL's leading receiver.
He's now caught 5 tonight, 40 for the season. On first down, Kelly again protected very well. The catch is made by Trumaine Johnson, and another first down at the 41. Hasty making the tackle. Trumaine Johnson out of the USFL, and he came over in a deal with San Diego and getting his moment in the sun, or the moon, if you will, tonight because of the injury to Burkett.
At one point in his USFL career, he was a leading receiver with 81 receptions, so he's got the moves. He just needed a little bit more confidence, and what better place to find it than against the Jets the way things are going here tonight.
Sad but true if you're a Jet fan.
From the 41, Thomas cuts it back, takes it inside the 35, and bulls his way down to the 32-yard line. The rookie picked in the 2nd round out of Oklahoma State. Remember, they gave up their 1st-round draft choice when they acquired Bennett in that 3-way Dickerson deal with Indianapolis and the Rams. They picked Thurman Thomas, and so far, so good. He leads all rookie running backs in yardage gained thus far this season as number 65, Tim Vogler, comes hobbling out of the game, and Dale Hellestray comes in to replace him.
The Bills go with a trio of running backs, all with a role. Thomas is the designated runner, Ronnie Harmon, the designated receiver, and Rob Riddick, the designated short yardage guy.
2nd and 1, and here's Carl Byram, another short yardage guy, and he turns short yardage into big yardage, pulling his way to the 20-yard line. McMillan takes it away, but well after the play. First down.
And Mark Gastineau acting like he's the guy that drew the foul. He takes an inside, I believe, on Joe Devlin. Let's see if that's where the flag comes in.
Offense, still 2nd down.
That was Dale Hellestray. He just came into the game. Remember, Vogler went limping out, and Hellestray's first play results in the penalty.
That's Robin Cole, number 90, filling in for the injured Alex Gordon. Cole, of course, was with defensive coordinator Bud Carson when Carson was with the Pittsburgh Steelers for 3 of their Super Bowl years. He was waived, a 12-year veteran. The Jets picked him up when they got in trouble early with linebackers.
2nd and 11 after the Bills' first penalty of the game. They give it to Byram again, and he's dragged down from behind by number 77, Gerald Nichols. And it'll be 3rd down and about 10 with 6:05 to play in the half. 24-7 Bills. Kelly, tremendous night. And remember, he's coming off a sensational second half last week. Tonight averaging 20.1 yards a pass.
Almost 3 times his normal average. And look at that, 9 of 11. This is the kind of a half that even big league quarterbacks like Kelly only think happens to somebody else.
3rd and 11. Kelly, and the line does its job again, and he hits Reed, but he's short of the first down. Reed had to come back to make the catch at the 33, but they still come up 2 yards shy of the first down. It'll be 4th and 2, or maybe 1 now. They spotted at the 32-yard line.
And just good coverage, because the Bills gave Kelly enough time to move around, finally stepping back into the pocket, and it's going to be very close.
Well, it's at that point in the field where the Bills have to consider, do we go for the field goal or go for the first down? It's really in that iffy area, but they've got the lead, and that's enjoyable if you're a Bills fan.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Ken O'Brien of the Jets scrambles to his right until he is in the grasp of Buffalo defensive end Bruce Smith. The whistle blows, and O'Brien then intentionally grounds the ball. Now you make the call. Where do you spot the ball?
Hello? Need a shipping date? Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Hello? You want research? Yo, price change?
The IBM Personal System 2
Research here. All trends are up.
runs today's most popular business program
Shipping. Be out in 10 days.
with superior graphics and speed.
The price on that? The price is $89.99.
No wonder it's today's fastest selling computer. The Personal System 2 family, part of the bigger picture from IBM.
What call did you make? Since the whistle was blown, O'Brien is considered down at the spot of grasp and control, and no penalty is called.
Just the key? Looks can be deceiving. This is Chrysler's Crystal Key, the key to everything. It unlocks New Yorker's V6 anti-lock brakes, the most advanced transmission, Ultra Drive, an abundance of rich Corinthian leather, and better owner care than even Rolls or Mercedes. New Yorker's Crystal Key gives you the one thing you always wanted. Everything.
Undefeated Indiana takes on Big Ten rival Michigan, or the top-ranked team in the nation, number 1 UCLA meets Arizona Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Half of a possum hunt moon. What do you think?
Nice harvest moon coming up. Beautiful day. Indian summer here in the east.
From the Goodyear blimp, as we look down upon a 4th down play. The Bills are going for it after the timeout. 4th down and 1 at the 32-yard line. And trying to pick up the first down is Riddick, and he does. And what a role player he is. Special teamer. We mentioned before he scored the touchdown. He's averaging about 2.5 yards a carry this season, but he lost 24 yards on one play. And he's used as a short yardage specialist.
I think the decision there for Buffalo was that it would have been a 49-yard field goal attempt for Norwood. And at that distance, I think that Marv Levy just played the percentages, thinking it's easier to pick up the first down when it's less than a yard than it is to make a 49-yard field goal.
That would also match Norwood's career best.
This time back to Thomas. And Thomas, fighting for a first down, may have it as he spots the ball at the 20-yard line, just short of the first down.
We talked about the loss of Alex Gordon as a pass rusher for the Jets over in that left side behind Gastineau. That is where the Bills also are moving the ball very well on the ground. Right at Gastineau, and there are many people who will tell you if you're going to run at Gastineau, take it right to him. He is a move man, not a strength man. And the Bills are exploiting that side of the defense of the Jets tonight.
From the 20, this is Byram. And he takes it to the 16, and so the Bills making use of all their running backs tonight. Thomas and Harmon and Riddick and Byram and Mueller have all carried the ball. 3:40 to go in the half. 24-7 Buffalo. The Meadowlands, no racing tonight.
No, Andre Reed is doing it all over here.
Right. They close the racetrack when either the Giants or Jets are home on a Monday. First down at the 16-yard line. Kelly going for it all and open in the end zone. Touchdown.
I don't have to tell you whom.
Andre Reed once again, 16 yards. And so after the Jets mount an impressive drive, and Dan talked about the importance of the Jets being able to stop Buffalo defensively, here come the Bills again going all the way down the field.
How about double coverage? Clifton underneath and Bobby Humphrey back in the secondary, and Humphrey just looked mesmerized. I don't know what he's looking at. Andre Reed, he's got eye contact with him all the way, and when Reed makes his break to the corner of the end zone, Bobby Humphrey stands there like he's got his feet in cement.
Wow, what a surgical drive that was, if you think back on it. On the ground, in the air. No pressure against Kelly.
7 catches for Reed tonight, so he's tied for the league lead with Keith Jackson of Philadelphia and Roger Craig of San Francisco. Extra point by Norwood is good. The Bills have been unstoppable, 31-7.
Reed had 7 catches a week ago, 124 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Andre Reed lines up in the slot position right here. Here underneath is Clifton, right back and behind is Humphrey. But watch how nobody makes a play on Reed when he makes his break for the corner. He makes his out move, and Bobby Humphrey, for some reason, doesn't honor that outside break by Andre Reed and just leaves him all that territory. Credit Kelly with a soft touch on the ball to drop it in, and Andre Reed having a prime time night.
And he just did get both feet down before he went out of bounds in the end zone.
Well, it's got to be driving up defensive coordinator Bud Carson bonkers. They are getting beat physically, but they are also making major mistakes. The big one, of course, to Reed in the first quarter, splitting his zone, and again you see Reed's coming down, sliding the right foot to make the contact. There's Bud Carson, one of the best around, but he has watched some major mistakes tonight, some errors of commission.
He has watched his team yield a score on each of Buffalo's 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. Well, you go back to the second half of last week's game. In fact, just prior to the end of the first half, when the Bills mounted a drive to get back in the game against Indianapolis, and combine that with this first half, and the Bills have been spectacular over the last 4 quarters. Michael Harper, who was just activated before the game, returns the kick back to the 26-yard line. He is stopped there by number 99, Hal Garner. First and 10 at the 26 with 3:09 to go in the half. And we can tell you that college football comes your way this Saturday, 3:30 Eastern time. You'll see either Indiana taking on Michigan or UCLA, now number 1 in the country after the Miami loss to Notre Dame against the Arizona Wildcats.
What a great week for college football. USC squeaking by Washington. They're number 3 now.
O'Brien on first down, lofting it out of bounds. The intended receiver was Freeman McNeil. Leonard Smith with the blitz that time, and he decks O'Brien. And Leonard
Smith
loves to hit.
Will he hit you, Dan? You know him well. And, of course, he came over here from Phoenix. We saw him against the Dallas Cowboys early in the season. And Phoenix desperately needed a cornerback. So they traded and gave up Leonard Smith. But one thing he will do, he'll put a load on you.
He will. A lot of people think he's the hardest hitting strong safety in the league. And he comes right up the middle, and the Jets make absolutely no provision to block him. And you give a player like that a free shot at the quarterback, and the guy who regrets it most is the quarterback. That time, Kenny O'Brien.
Second and 10 from the 26-yard line. O'Brien hits Griggs, but for little or no gain. He's pushed back by Cornelius Bennett. And Bennett's been pretty quiet tonight.
Well, he wasn't quiet during the week.
No, he wasn't.
They interviewed him and asked him how he compared to the likes of Lawrence Taylor, and he's very quiet, very subdued, but he said, to paraphrase what he said, I think I'm just as good because I'm Cornelius Bennett.
I liked what Marv Levy said. We said, Coach, tell us something we can say about Cornelius Bennett. He said, say whatever you want and attribute it to me. He's that good. Say whatever positive you want to say. I'll say I said it. There's nothing he can't do.
3rd and 6. He comes in on a blitz, and down goes O'Brien again, but from the other side, as Leonard Smith on a safety blitz sacks him.
You know, Bennett might have got the blitz, but Leonard Smith got there first. And this is what the Jets are going to see all night long, trailing as they are 31-7. It's what Joe Walton feared the most, to get behind and try to pass protect, and particularly over on the left side against Bruce Smith.
Watch
Dave
how they
Cadigan hurt.
Watch how they do that. Here's Leonard Smith up here standing up, but down at the bottom is Bennett, and look how he's gotten down into a three-point stance. But the end result is the same. They just head straight for the quarterback, and it's going to be Leonard Smith. Look at that jump off of the football. That time it looked like Leonard Smith anticipated the snap count, got off directly on the snap, and I'm afraid Kenny O'Brien is really going to have to worry about protecting himself. I believe that's Ted Banker, the left guard, who was slow to get up and now is having trouble even making it over to the Jet bench.
So on the left side, they're already minus Cadigan, who went on injured reserve today with a foot injury. Now Banker comes out. And already O'Brien has been sacked 4 times tonight. And the Jets will have to punt again because it's 4th and 17. It's Prokop's 5th punt.
I would have to assume the next guy to come in and play left guard would be Mike Haight, the Jets' #1 draft choice of 3 years ago.
And with the Jets will take it down with a 2-minute warning to take some time off the clock before they punt. And that's the stoppage here with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
There's a look at Haight over on the sideline. #1 draft choice out of Iowa. And boy, tough time to come into the game.
Bills by 24. That's a 2-minute warning.
Attention, all men with noses. Introducing the Schick Slim Twin Disposable Razor. Compare new Slim Twin's narrow head to Gillette Good News. Slim Twin is 28% slimmer. No wonder men prefer Slim Twin over Good News. So for a close, comfortable shave, even in hard-to-reach places, get new Schick Slim Twin. Already preferred by men who have noses.
As long as I've known Tom, I need help, he's there. Sure, I'm glad to see you. Stay with you? Figured you wouldn't mind.
Strays rounded up, you head for the mountains, bush, and the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Sure owe you one. How about this in here?
Head for the mountains of bush beer.
At UPS, we're changing the look of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. An accomplishment we feel deserves a little flag waving. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Joe Montana leads the 49ers against Jim McMahon and the Chicago Bears as 2 of the NFL's top quarterbacks take the field next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
So the Jets are ready to punt here with a 2-minute warning. 4th down and 17, Prokop's 5th punt. He stands at his own 5-yard line. And Errol Tucker to receive for Buffalo at his own 45. When the Bills get the ball back, they have 1 timeout left in the half. Good, high, deep kick. And Tucker fields at the 28, escapes 2 tackles there, comes out past the 40, and returns the ball to the other side of the 50-yard line. So they will start in Jets territory. Guy Bingham makes the tackle. Boos cascading down upon the Jets after a 52-yard punt, 24-yard run back. And the Bills, with 1 timeout, have the ball at the Jets' 49-yard line.
What a return that time by Errol Tucker. A phenomenal effort, spinning, staying on his feet. A question early as to whether his knee was down, but remember, his knee has to be down by contact. That knee going on the ground right there doesn't mean anything. He's back up before anyone from the New York Jets makes contact. That's why he's able to go ahead and finish that return. Great hustle that time.
from the 48-yard line. Byram is stopped for no gain. Clock ticking down, 1:36 to go in the half.
That return by Tucker, a chance he won, but when you're up 31-7, you can take those kinds of chances, and that's why games like this tend to become self-generating in terms of points.
But also indicative of the way the Jets have played tonight, because the Jets have two guys right on him. They should have knocked him into the next zip code. Instead, he gets a big return, as we see Ted Banker going into the locker room on the back of the cart. We'll get you an injury report as soon as one is made available to us. But that's bad news for the Jets.
2nd and 10 at the 48. Kelly throws over the middle, wide open as Metzelar is the tight end, and he's taken down at the 33-yard line by Eric McMillan with 55 seconds, and Kelly's going to use his last timeout here, and that'll stop the clock with 51 seconds. Bills are out of timeouts. They're at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10.
Letter perfect read by Jim Kelly. Again, the Jets in the blitz. They were turning Gastineau loose.
Look
and
at that,
he reads
Frank.
it perfectly.
4 for 4, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns on 1st down.
That's our halftime feature tonight.
That's been a big story out on the West Coast, Al. It's been a major story back here. Mark Gastineau, he does some rare things, but he is having a fine season. He credits most of it to his romance with Brigitte Nielsen. He's been able to mix sacks and romance.
He's got a rubber band in his ponytail back there.
Well, Brigitte used to be a bigger story on the West Coast, but now she's taking her act back here to the east, and we will detail that love affair at the half.
I talked to him before the game tonight, and he was just ecstatic over his newfound romance. Talked about raking leaves yesterday, the two of them cooking in the kitchen. He said, "That's touching. We don't fit in our kitchen too well."
That's really heartwarming.
Kelly could be moved. Try to get it to Harmon under a heavy rush that time from Lyons. 2nd and 10.
You know, you chuckle and you laugh about it. You look him right in the eye, and he is deadly serious about it. Let's face it, he has turned around remarkably. 2 years ago, he had a couple of sacks and that bad knee injury. Had the surgery last year, 4.5 sacks, and of course did not even go out when the players went out on strike. Did not make a whole lot of friends. Battled his way back, and he credits most of it to Brigitte Nielsen. Well, he does.
2nd and 10 at the 34-yard line as Kelly goes for it all again for Trumaine Johnson and tipped away by James Hasty, the rookie. And he barks at Johnson and is pushed aside by the side judge.
Well, that time Hasty played it awful well, and that's why Joe Walton and Bud Carson have a rookie playing corner. Maybe the toughest place in the league to have to play as a corner, but I think you're going to see a little bit why they have Hasty in there, because he just plays this perfectly. Always aware of where the receiver is, always looking back to the football, playing the ball, not the receiver. That's why James Hasty, a 3rd-round draft choice, is starting, and by looking at things like that, you'd have to think that he's going to be a good one.
You saw Bud Carson. He went out and scouted him personally and immediately inserted him in the lineup, and this has been a dramatically new secondary for the Jets this year.
3rd and 10. Kelly pump fakes again, tries to spin, sacked at the 45-yard line. Sacked by Carl Howard.
Well, Carl Howard, you'll remember him from earlier. He's the Jet defensive back that tipped the ball that ended up being a touchdown. And meanwhile, on the far side of the field over at the 20-yard line, we've got a player down.
And the Jets are going to take a timeout here as well, because they're going to get the ball back. And that is number 33 for the New York Jets. That's Terry Williams, another rookie defensive back. And not only did they start 2 rookies tonight, of their 8 defensive backs, 4 are rookies. And Walton takes the timeout with 34 seconds, knowing he's going to get the ball back after the punt. 31-7 Buffalo.
I think the highlight of Joe's weekend was his son Tiger's performance for East Islip High School. The quarterback out there threw a touchdown pass. Threw a couple of them. Had one call back. Joe Jr.
I think after the game, they all went home and raked leaves. He ought to be proud of his son. That's That's one of life's treats, isn't it? Watching one of your kids do
something. Puts it all in perspective. It really does. And he's not only proud of Tiger, or what they call him, also his 2 daughters. I played with Joe, as I mentioned earlier, and very devout family man, very intense, overachiever in every way, and that's the kind of football players that Joe has looked for and accumulated. Players that'll go out maybe lacking the physical ability of other players, but they'll go out and give it 100%. And he's changed his team around, not only the secondary, as I mentioned a moment ago, he's changed his entire team around rather dramatically.
Meanwhile, we look at Terry Williams down on the field, and as they examine the right knee to see how much movement is in there, the doctor trying to make a determination how much movement is in there now in comparison to what was there before. And Terry Williams doesn't look good right now.
So he is assisted off. And this is the first punt of the game for the Buffalo Bills. John Kidd.
We promised you an injury report on Ted Banker. We've been told that he's in the locker room getting x-rays on a sprained foot. And we'll let you know if anything shows up there.
Kidd gets the kick away. Townsell is back, but he lets it bounce at the 17-yard line. And it goes out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. And so the Jets have the football with only 28 seconds. And they have 2 timeouts remaining. Boy, Walton has seen it all this year. The Jets looked awful opening day against New England. Lost at 28-3. Then the next week came back and beat the Bernie Kosar-less Cleveland Browns. Destroyed Houston here 45-3. And tonight, a miserable first half, down by 24. Kuhn makes the catch, tries to get out of bounds, and does at the 25-yard line. And that stops the clock with 21 seconds. He's run out by Nate Odoms, his teammate, a teammate of his at Wisconsin. When Kuhn was a senior, Odoms was a sophomore.
Joe's got to think of several things here. One of them is preserving his quarterback. That time, Ken O'Brien was able to unload it, but again, he was decked by Bruce Smith. And he'd like to go upfield, perhaps even think about a field goal, but if he takes any more than just a couple of beats, Bruce Smith is going to be right in Ken O'Brien's face. He's been there all night.
2nd and 5. And the catch is made by Griggs, and he is pushed back and tossed up the ball, but the play was whistled dead at the 34-yard line. Play whistled dead there, and the Jets will have to take a timeout to stop the clock with 11 seconds remaining in the half.
I guess the Jets are going to discuss the option of going ahead and just putting up the Hail Mary and see if something positive happens. But I think Frank's point is well made. I think whatever pattern they decide to run, I wouldn't leave my quarterback standing back in that pocket for more than 3 seconds. It's one thing to be trailing a ball game 31-7, but I think the Jets also have to think about this guy, number 7, living to fight another day. And while you certainly don't concede this ball game, you don't unnecessarily put your quarterback in a bad spot, especially on the last play or maybe the next last play of the first half. So if it's going to be a Hail Mary, 1, 2, 3, plant and let it go.
Either that or throw something high percentage, maybe to McNeil, and hoping he can turn into a big run, get you somewhere near field goal position. But right now, fighting the clock and fighting the fact that Ken O'Brien is just not getting time to throw it.
And they come up in a rather conventional set for this circumstance, and they throw it underneath. The catch is made by McNeil, but he can go nowhere. He stopped at the 42-yard line, and that will do it. The first half is over, and those aren't loos or mooses you're hearing from this crowd. At the half, 31-7, back after this message from the NFL and a word from your local station.
Coming up next, Mark Gastineau and Brigitte Nielsen. Honest.
I've been in the pocket when the pressure is on. I've learned to keep open my options. I'm Kenny O'Brien of the New York Jets. And learning the importance of the option play on the field and in life is what my teammates and our Jet coaching staff are teaching these young people. We're part of the United Way's Apple Drug Prevention Program, a program planned for life enrichment. These kids are growing up in a society where peer pressure, substance abuse, and violence are all around them. We try to let them know how to make the option play work for them in life, how to make the right choices when you're under pressure. There's one more reason why this United Way program is so important to me. This is my wife, Stacy, and our daughter, Taylor.
We want Taylor to grow up in a community and a society where drugs and the violence they breed are not tolerated.
I believe Americans have gotten the message, and the NFL, the United Way, and all of its agencies are making a difference. Because the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
The premieres are here, and it's about time.
Pretty neat, huh?
First, Who's the Boss cruises into its 5th season.
But they never called your car a banana boat.
No, no. They called me a banana boat.
Then, critics are calling it the best new show of the season.
You're the only bimbo in my life.
The freshest sitcom since The Cosby Show.
Get away, you're making me puke.
The premiere of Roseanne, following the season premiere of Who's the Boss, tomorrow.
Introducing McDonald's Country Style McChicken Sandwich.
Good time. Come and get it. Great taste. Chicken.
All white breasted chicken cooked up country style.
Country style McChicken at my place. Come and get it. Come and get it all the fun.
Juicy all white breast meat on the inside, crispy coating on the out. Lettuce and mayo.
McChicken, chicken, chicken. That's what country style's about. Good time, great taste of McDonald's new McChicken. Come and get it.
You want to know what the best thing was about those 97 Rock gas sales? The people and the music, and not necessarily in that order. You talk about running on empty. We used to have to push the car the last quarter mile just to fill it up for 97 cents. And now 97 Rock is back, playing the music that I love to listen to in my car. Good time rock and roll. Plus new music from bands that I still like. 97 Rock, back and rocking. Would I love to fill my tank up for 97 cents today?
Buffalo still high on the Bills. The story on Nightcast.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Apple Computer, giving you the power to be your best in home, school, and business.
We're back at Giant Stadium. A nightmare first half for the New York Jets. The Buffalo Bills leading the New York Jets 31-7. And we are joined in our booth right now by Lynn Swan. And we touched on that story, the bigger-than-life story here, at least in the New York area. Brigitte Nielsen and Mark Gastineau and Dan Deerdorf looked at me like I was wacko when I said that Mark really credits Brigitte with his big comeback.
He certainly does, and it's been all over the newspapers. And, of course, Mark Gastineau's name being in the newspaper is nothing old. Ever since he was a small boy playing in the sports arena, he's accustomed to seeing his name in the newspaper. But the last few years haven't been kind. He hasn't played well. Came into camp early, and people said he was afraid he'd lose his job. So they think he came in out of fear. But he says his performance and turnaround is credited to his relationship with Brigitte Nielsen. Well, whatever the reason, he's having a great time, and he's back in the headlines again. The headlines started when Mark Gastineau came to the Jets in 1978, a small-town boy in the big city. He had come from Springerville, Arizona, where he grew up. It is a tiny town, and he was a standout in 3 sports. Mark was named All-State in track and basketball. And, of course, being one of the big men on campus, he took one of the prettiest girls in town to the prom. Gastineau played his college ball at East Central University in Oklahoma, and was the first player from that school ever drafted into the NFL. Mark Gastineau had made the big time. He quickly earned a reputation as a menacing defensive end. In 1984, he set the current NFL record for sacks with 22 and created the controversial sack dance. It incited the fans, and eventually the NFL made a ruling that curtailed his antics. Controversy clung to Gastineau. In 1983, he was involved in an incident in a New York City dance club. In 1986, he was injured, and for 2 years, his sack total dropped drastically. Last year, during the NFL player strike, he angered his teammates by crossing the picket line to play with the replacement team. And 8 months ago, he left his wife for Brigitte Nielsen, whom he says he'll never leave.
I know those are really heavy words to say in front of America, but
she's what I want. She's what I'm going to be happy with for the rest of my life.
Born in Denmark, Brigitte is a head-turning, heart-stopping, 6-foot actress and model whose second husband, as we all know, was Sylvester Stallone. This season, instead of making movies, she's become an ardent, if not a knowledgeable, football fan.
I know that 2 + 2 is 4, and that's all I need to know in this game because my focus is Mark, and that's terrific.
Gastineau is back. He's among the leaders in sacks, and he's putting an end to the rumors that his career is over. He gives complete credit to Brigitte.
If the truth was known, I probably wouldn't even be playing this year if it wasn't for her.
Thank you.
When we come back, more with Mark Gastineau and Brigitte Nielsen.
So they sent you down to check up on me.
Who am I to check up on you?
So how's it coming?
I don't know.
You tell me.
Where'd you get all this?
I keep telling you guys, the worst place to get any work done is at work.
But you're all alone here. I mean, no secretary, no production department, no nothing.
Oh, I wouldn't exactly say nothing.
Recently, Mark Gastineau and Brigitte Nielsen bought a cottage on Long Island, New York. It is tucked away from the prying public, and it is here they hope to find solitude and some time for just the two of them.
What is it about Mark that draws you to him that we don't know?
Well, he has a heart that's larger than life. He's got really a lot of good stuff inside of him. He's extremely street smart, and he's been through tremendous ups and downs. Has given him a quality for extremely positive outlook in life that I like. Physically, he's beautiful, and he's sexy. He's very handsome, which is important if the other things are okay. And just the whole combination of Mark is just what I want and what I fell in love with, and I love it.
Now that I am in such deep, deep love, to walk out that door in the morning and to leave her just for an hour or 2 hours, because we like to spend every minute or every second together. And now that I have it, I don't want to give it up for anything. Football doesn't even come near what I have with her. And if she told me to give it up tomorrow, I mean, that's exactly what I would do for her.
Do you want me to talk?
Go ahead.
All right. I think as long as Mark is outrageous and he is strong and he's mentally ready for every season, he should carry on as long, which is the most important, he has a passion for it.
Does it bother you that the guys might look at Gita and think one thing, and you know that she's totally different than what's ever been printed about her?
They don't really talk about her that much, and in fact, the things that they do say are mostly, you know, the positive things. That's one of the things that I enjoy about being on that team. Sure, she's in the limelight. She's got her career and everything, and she's talked about and written about in all the tabloids and things, but people really are positive with her.
With everything being done and said, what makes it all work for the both of you?
Him.
She does.
Well, whatever makes it work, makes it work. Breaking leaves, I guess, a big part of it.
Well,
he did say he was out there.
They're obviously very much in love.
Indeed. And he obviously
you have to be happy for him.
Yeah. How about reality? The Chicago Bears, the San Francisco 49ers will be there in Chicago next week. Now, that's reality.
Next week, it's an interesting game. Remember, last year we had the same matchup, but at Candlestick Park. It figured to be the game of the year. It turned out to be one of the great routs of all time, with the 49ers winning at 41-0. This is going to be a big game for the 49ers because they're in the very tough NFC West. You've got New Orleans out in front of them. At least Chicago has a little cushion, leading Minnesota by 2 now.
Well, what I like about it is playing at Soldier Field, one of the great football environments in the country. Now they've got a grass field. I mean, it's tailor-made for us.
Really, indeed, it is. You know, we'll be there. It's going to be one of the good ones we think we have on the schedule. We'll have the Bears twice more over the rest of the season, and we'll have the 49ers once again. And we'll be back with the Jets and the Bills in a moment.
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
That's our story with halftime winding down here at Giant Stadium. The Bills over the Jets 31-7, and we'll return for the second half after this message about an upcoming show on ABC and news from your local station.
What's it feel like, boy or a girl?
Yep.
Come on, honey. I mean, what are we going to have?
All new episodes Wednesdays at 8 p.m., 7 Central.
Got that?
A television classic is back. Sunday, Peter Graves returns to lead the top-secret Impossible Missions Force. The all-new Mission Impossible.
Good evening, I'm Mary McCombs, and these are some of the stories that we're working on for Eyewitness News Nightcast right after the game. The government is making sure that you get all the information you need about the deadly disease AIDS. It has launched phase 2 of its public service campaign, and we'll tell you exactly what it involves. We're also going to bring you up to date on rescue operations in Alaska as 3 gray whales battle for air beneath the ice. It may already be too late to save the endangered species. And of course, no Bills game would be complete without a Bills bash. And when the Bills are away, the fans will play. We're going to have a live eye report and reaction to tonight's game on Eyewitness News Nightcast from David Collin. And it's time now to talk sports. Mark Cooper's here.
And we'll also have live reports tonight after the game. Well, we'll talk about high school football, though, first. Thanks to Lancaster's victory over North Tonawanda Friday night, we have a new #1 team in our Channel 7 large school rankings this week. That team, not Lancaster, it's St. Joe's. Lancaster remains at #2 this week, with Grover and Timon and Jamestown rounding up the top 5. NT drops from #1 to #6 this week, followed by Clarence, Orchard Park, Burgard, and Lockport. #1 in the small school poll, Medina, followed by Albion and Cleveland Hill. Springville, then Allegheny is #5. Turner Carroll is in at #6, followed by Salamanca. Silver Creek, Pine Valley had a big win on Saturday, and Nichols, despite the loss, stays in the top 10, their first loss of the season on Saturday. That rounds out the poll.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark.
Thanks, Mary.
Time now to check in with AccuWeather, and Lori Lasowski joins us. Hello, Lori.
Hi there, Mary. It's been a windy and wet night across western New York. Let's take a quick look at the local radar picture, and we can see there's widespread showers all around western New York. We did get a little bit in downtown Buffalo, but it's kind of a little bit of a break in the action right now. For tomorrow, we're looking for more of the same kind of showers, windy, but things clearing up a little bit in the afternoon, bringing us some sunshine, high of 55 degrees, and go Bills. Yay. Back inside.
Like the hat, I don't think Clipper would enjoy that too much.
No, he wouldn't,
right
but
about now.
That's too bad.
Thanks, Lori. That's our halftime report. Thanks for joining us.
A lesson in Chevynomics.
Make good use of Chevrolet Special Option Saver packages like this. A free automatic transmission, a $415 value, and I got it free with my new Cavalier. Plus, I saved another $800 on options like these, including air conditioning. Let's face it, when you get down to the bottom of things, the Cavalier, it's a great buy.
Chevynomics. It adds up to more for less from your good neighbor Chevy dealer.
You know, there's just no substitute for a well-polished trade.
Indeed. Roy, how nice to see you.
Oh.
You shouldn't have. Do sit down. May I offer you a cup of tea?
Why, thank you, Wendell. Listen, I do love what you've done with this place.
Yes, this fabric would look lovely in my caboose.
I must remember to pick some up.
Finger sandwiches, gentlemen?
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
Expect the best tomorrow on Live at 5.
Sunday, America's Sunshine Forever mounts a challenge to become North America's Grass Champion of the Year. He's tested against a world-class field in the Budweiser International. Then a breed unto themselves, the Boston Celtics. The NBA's winningest team competes against world powers in the McDonald's Basketball Open. All live Sunday on ABC Sports.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX. And by The Travelers, one of America's most experienced financial experts. You're better off under the umbrella.
Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. As promised, we are back for the second half. Buffalo, 31-7 at halftime.
Quick look at Gastineau. That's Wally Chambers, who was brought in to work with the Jets defensive line. He spoke with a moment ago, the former Bear All-Pro, Pro Bowl defensive end.
Jets to kick off. Leahy puts it in the air, angles the kick down to the 12-yard line. Flip Johnson, who scored a touchdown on a deflected pass reception in the first half, is tackled by Marion Barber. And so the Buffalo Bills will take over as we start the second half at their own 30-yard line. Flip Johnson, one catch in his career in this game, the 65-yard deflected reception, and there are the numbers through the first 30 minutes.
And really, it took a surge by the Jets late in the second quarter even to get over 100 yards offense. A total mismatch so far, all in favor of Buffalo.
Kelly and the Bills at the 30. Thurman Thomas through the middle, gets dragged down after a gain of 4. Marty Lyons reaching around to make the tackle, number 93. So they've got a 10-year man at one end, a 10-year man at the other, and Scott Mercereau, the second-year man, and the fellow they picked up during the strike last year in the middle.
And if you're going to talk about older players that have rejuvenated themselves, you got to talk about Marty Lyons. Already 4.5 sacks on the year, and some week he had in their game last week. A safety on the first play of the game, then recovering a fumble, a couple sacks. He did everything.
This is Byram out to the 38-yard line, and he's in on that tackle again. And last week they squandered that 9-0 lead, which Lions mainly gave them, and wound up losing to Cincinnati.
Here's Lions again closing down to make the stop. He tried to play last year after having both shoulders operated on during the offseason. He had a tough year, and the fact that Gastineau has come back and is quite a force on the other end has really helped Marty Lyons. 4.5 sacks into the night, and he's been close tonight.
Third down and a very short 3 from the 38-yard line out of the shotgun. And over the middle, it's knocked down. Trumaine Johnson was the intended receiver, and then James Hasty, who's very hasty and getting in some barking at the intended receiver, breaking up the play.
I wonder where this bad blood stems from between Hasty and Trumaine Johnson, but that's his second effort at Johnson, right in his face after the play, and a good shot at Trumaine being very non-committal. He's acting like he doesn't even hear it, and that's a trait that'll serve him well over the years as a wide receiver. Don't pay any attention to those guys that get in your face.
They've got their own little game within the game going on. Kidd's kick is a beauty. It's fielded at the 13-yard line by JoJo Townsell, and nowhere to go. And down he goes as Garner applies the coup de grace. Hal Garner with a tackle at the 14-yard line. And for Kidd, a 49-yard punt, 3-yard run back, and the Jets take over deep in their own territory.
And we talked about Hasty getting it on with Trumaine Johnson. You see that with a lot of good cornerbacks, too, because it's a lonely position out there. You've got to believe in yourself totally. You get stuck on a receiver who can outrun you, who can beat you. You're trying to cover him backwards, and you've got to believe in yourself. And you kind of like this trait about James Hasty, as I mentioned earlier, personally scouted by Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator for the Jets.
Jets from the 15-yard line, their first possession of the second half. And going deep and picked off at the 49-yard line by Mark Kelso. And he takes it back to the 46. Leslie Walker, the intended receiver.
That's about as bad a pass as you're going to see Ken O'Brien throw. He just hung that up.
Illegal motion, 66, offense, and one other offensive man. Decline, first down.
Couldn't have been 66. That's Dave Cadigan, who's on injured reserve.
That was a full-blown zone defense. Kenny O'Brien just hung it up. It had no chance, and the Bills get it back, Jet territory.
So there's Kelso, who had to leave last week's game with a concussion. Bills take over at the Jets 45. Less than 2 minutes into the third quarter. Buffalo on top 31-7. Kelly underneath, and Metzelaars tried to one-hand it and couldn't. Clifton covers on the play. Bills try put in Hershiser. He's been everywhere else. Maybe that's what the Jets need.
The year of the Bulldog, eh?
Yeah, oh boy.
Orel Hershiser. Wow.
Is he going to go tomorrow night out?
Maybe
he could.
You never know.
What the Jets need is Kirk Gibson. They don't need
right.
They need some late heroics. How about Kelly going to the air on first down? I think that might have been his first incompletion of the game on first down. We saw that stat earlier where he was 4 for 4 and over 100 yards. You couldn't tell that Buffalo's got the lead.
2nd and 10, and he's going deep here down the far side and a little too deep, intended for Andre Reed, and good coverage provided on the play that time by Bobby Humphrey, the cornerback, the converted wide receiver, and the most experienced of the Jets defensive backs.
Oh, now quickly, Kelly read this. You'll see the coverage. It is man for man, and Humphrey looking right into the receiver tries to time it out when the ball will be thrown, but Kelly with a fine read. Full blitz, man for man, and it was just good coverage.
But I think a good illustration there of the kind of liberties the defensive backs are allowed to take now. Bobby Humphrey had his right arm into the midsection of Reed all the way down the field, at least the final 10 yards, and that would have been a flag last year, but not this year.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 10. Blitz is on, but he gets it away and hits Harmon underneath, and Harmon has a first down, dragging Eric McMillan with him. So the Jets blitz and get burned, and on 3rd and 10, the Bills convert with 12:55 to go in the third period.
Oh, that's a tough play by Kelly.
Yeah, I talked to Marv Levy yesterday when we met with him, and he said, if I could change one thing in Jim, I wish I could make him a little less tough. I mean, the guy stands in that pocket, waits till the very last moment when he knows he's going to take a shot. And watch Carl Howard come here from the top of the screen and watch Jim Kelly set his receiver, and you just can't hold on to it much longer than that. And look at the price he pays for it. Well, what's he get out of it? A completion.
That's guts.
This is Harmon carrying from the 31. He slips down as he cuts to the outside. McMillan comes up to make the tackle. So what was it that Andre Reed said in the paper this morning? He said, I want to have the kind of performance tonight that will convince the other players to cast their ballots for me when the Pro Bowl election is held in December. And he's halfway to Hawaii after this performance tonight, is Andre Reed.
And Cornelius Bennett dreamed of playing on Monday Night Football.
He sure did. Wanted to bring back the ghosts of the past as well. 2nd and 7 from the 28. Byram fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. Byram is out of Mississippi Valley State, and he played there with Jerry Rice, the great San Francisco wide receiver, who we will take a look at next Monday when the 49ers take on the Bears.
Well, here's a little trivia for you. Andre Reed played at Kutztown State. Where is that?
Pennsylvania, I think.
Kutztown University, I guess it is. Yes, Kutztown, Pennsylvania.
Third down and 7. Little shovel pass to Riddick. He spins away from McMillan and picks up the first down. Getting to the 19-yard line, he's tackled by Miano and Hasty.
Well, it's not often that Rob Riddick gets to take part in a little razzle-dazzle. It's mostly grinded out, short yardage, 3rd and 1, tough stuff inside for Rob Riddick, but a little shovel pass that time. It's got to be a pleasant change of pace for a guy that has to bang heads on every play.
Yeah, you're up 31-7. You may as well show a lot of things for the teams that are probably scouting you. Bill Belichick, the Giants defensive coordinator, is on hand watching the Jets because the Giants will be meeting the Jets later on. Show off a few things.
Harmon runs into a whole passel of people, including Troy Benson. Just to update a couple of injuries in the first half. Terry Williams and Ted Banker both assisted off. X-rays taken negative, but neither will return to the game. 9:55 to go, third quarter. The Buffalo Bills trying to go up by 2 full games in the AFC East. If the Jets lose, Buffalo would lead Miami by 2 and the Jets by 2.5.
And the word that comes to mind trying to describe the Buffalo offensive attack tonight is relentless. I mean, this is a team that already has a 31-7 lead, and I mean, they show no signs of letting up.
And they're going to take a timeout with a 2nd and 12 at the 21 upcoming. 31-7 Buffalo.
That looks like Kurt driving the Pathfinder. Yep, I don't use my turn signal in the jungle.
We were looking for the lost city of Yaxchitlan. We were lost, so I figured we must be close.
Yaxchitlan is this incredible place. And you can't get there by tour bus.
Welcome to the new world, where all the rules have changed. A world of financial expertise to accumulate assets, finance mortgages. A world of insurance protection for lives, property, and businesses. A world of comprehensive, affordable health services. It's the world of the travelers. One of America's strongest insurance, financial, and health service experts. The travelers. You're better off under the umbrella.
Before your tires show uneven wear, have your alignment checked. Or you could be shortening tire life and taking risks. At Midas, trained professionals with the latest technology align your car right. Hey, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
In the pizza delivery game, the Noid zaps ordinary pizza. But Domino's Pizza's best because they deliver more than all the rest. The Noid just can't beat the best. Domino's Pizza, nobody delivers better.
Oh, one of the things we talked about at the top tonight was which Jets team would show up, the wrong one.
Not the one Joe wanted to show up, I'm sure, but let's take nothing away from Buffalo either. They have been sharp in every way.
And we also talked about a hurdle that the Buffalo Bills got over last week, coming from behind a 17-0 deficit, and then having to win a pressure game tonight, Monday Night Football, and they appear to have answered both tests pretty well.
And Buffalo is attempting to win its first Monday night game since 1981.
The last year they had a winning season. 10-6 under Chuck Knox.
2nd and 12, Bills at the Jets' 21-yard line. Kelly, under a lot of pressure, gets hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Gerald Nichols came charging in, flag down.
Flag went down around the 7-yard line, somewhere back in the secondary, and it's defensive holding against the Jets, and that'll take the Bills from a 3rd and long situation and give them an automatic first down.
Holding, number 48, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Bobby Humphrey.
Well, Bobby Humphrey, who's really been playing pretty well tonight. The times we've spotlighted him, his coverage has been right there. That time really makes an error, though, and gives Buffalo a first down when it would have been about 3rd and 12.
Jets without a defensive back ever selected for the Pro Bowl. As Byram is stopped at the 17-yard line. You have to go all the way back to the old AFC All-Star game and Daynard Paulson to find any Jet defensive back who's ever appeared in an All-Star game.
Well, that's quite a run.
Yeah. 23 years. And that's, one of the reasons why they decided that Russell Carter could go, and they dealt him away eventually to the Raiders and Lyles as well, and they wound up drafting 3 defensive backs among their first 4 picks. They had to revamp that secondary. Harmon in motion on 2nd and 11. And Kelly going for Johnson. No. He's out of bounds.
I think there's Mr. Hasty again on the coverage.
He's still jawing at him also. Just barely was out of bounds. Well thrown ball.
I mean, that really is outstanding coverage by Hasty. If you take a look at how tightly he's got Johnson covered here, it looks more than it is. I mean, he's right there within an arm's length, and just a perfectly thrown ball, and give Hasty credit. He knew there wasn't enough end zone to make the completion. This guy's playing some football tonight. He's talking about it at the same time. One of the things the Jets like about Hasty is how big he is. Guy's 6 feet, 200 pounds. That's a big corner.
On 3rd and 11, he's playing bump and run with Johnson, and the pass is nearly picked off by the rookie McMillan, intended for Riddick. Right in his hand.
Another one of those rookies that you literally watched grow up, Dan. That's Ernie McMillan, the great St. Louis Cardinal offensive lineman and coach. That's his son.
I had a nice talk with Eric down on the field before the game, and he said, Dan, he said, the thing that really frustrates me is I should have at least 5 or 6 interceptions by now, and I doubt he'll have another opportunity that golden right there. And yeah, you're right. I did watch this kid grow up. He was 6 years old when I met him the first time. His dad, a teammate of mine for years in St. Louis, and used to bring him into the locker room and sit in our meetings. And talented football player.
Scott Norwood to attempt a 34-yard field goal. Kidd puts it down, and Norwood's kick is good. So tack on 3 more for Buffalo with 8:32 remaining in the 3rd quarter at Giant Stadium. 34-7 Bills.
Your man in Washington has come through?
The Americans will be most displeased. Observe the argon-activated radio-optic laser lights.
Amusing, Boris, but the party demanded Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Where is Boris? He is enjoying a cold one.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
At Nissan, we designed the new 240SX based on a thorough understanding of the kind of performance you expect from a sports car. The Nissan 240SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
There's good news and bad news. First, the bad news. 3 out of 4 unsuspecting people will get gingivitis, an early form of gum disease. Now, the good news. Listerine Antiseptic is the only non-prescription mouthwash accepted by the American Dental Association for its significant help in preventing and reducing plaque and gingivitis. And Listerine still kills bad breath germs. So brush, floss, and use Listerine. It's good news for you, bad news for gingivitis.
Undefeated Indiana takes on Big Ten rival Michigan. Or the top-ranked team in the nation, #1 UCLA, meets Arizona Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Well, the man on the right, of course, is Marty Glickman, the longtime broadcaster, along with former punter Dave Jennings, the Jets radio crew. And Marty tonight celebrates his 40th anniversary in broadcasting.
He did all the games that I played as a Giant, and so many of them that Joe Walton played. Been around now. He's kind of a consultant for NBC and their announcers. He's seen it all.
Former Knicks announcer. Used to love the way he'd say, pretty play, pretty play.
Loved him up at Yonkers Raceway. Pretty good track man. He's done it all. And a great sprinter for Syracuse.
34-7 as Norwood kicks off in the direction of Stone. And Stone makes the catch in fair territory, or did he? In bounds. But he may have been out when he made the catch, which would be a break for the Jets. And that's why the flag apparently went down. The line judge is right there. If he made the catch inbounds and stepped out, the ball's at the 2. If he makes the catch out of bounds, it comes back out to the 35. Take a look.
From behind. Well, there goes. He catches the ball and goes out of bounds. I
thought his foot was out when he made the catch. It's the same as a pass. Both feet have to be in bounds. And this is a reviewable play.
Well, this is interesting now. Do the same rules apply to the catching of a kickoff as they would to a pass reception? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good question.
He's clearly... See, we can't tell about the possession of the ball from that particular angle exactly when he has it.
And so they review it upstairs, and We'll get the word from Jorgensen in just a minute. And so for Walton, it's the difference between getting the ball at his own 2 or his own 35. And the crowd getting a little raucous and some fights taking place in the stands, and that's the reason for the crowd response.
Well, I'm not sure the officials know what to do. I mean, I certainly have never seen this happen before on a kickoff. Let's look at it again from behind one more time. Watch the right foot. Now there comes the ball. And from that angle, it almost looks like he catches the ball and then steps out. It's tough to tell.
We're thumbing through the rule book here, and I don't find anything yet in terms of whether or not the same rule would apply as to a pass reception with both feet in bounds.
I think the officials are waiting for some interpretation from the replay booth themselves.
Yeah, this may be in the small type of the rule book. We've got the basic rule book with us, and I don't see this addressed.
Here we go from another angle across the field.
You know, he maybe had both feet out of bounds. We couldn't see the left from the end zone. The right was definitely out of bounds. It was the left. But obviously they're looking at the replay.
I mean, I guess it could be that if he was already out of bounds when he touched the ball, they're going to rule that the ball itself was out of bounds. And thus the penalty would be against the kicking team, and they'd have to kick it over. Or they could rule that Sohn actually was the guy that took the ball out of bounds. What a mess.
Yeah. Well, I'm thumbing through the rule book, as I say, with Kelly Hayes, and
here we go. Looks like
entire section.
Looks like they've come to some sort of a conclusion.
After review by replay, the ruling stands as called on the field. Kickoff out of bounds. First down on the 35-yard line.
So he was ruled out of bounds.
So their interpretation is that the ball would have gone out of bounds at that point or somewhere before the goal line, and that Sohn was actually standing with that 1 foot out of bounds when he caught the ball, and that makes the ball out of bounds.
And we have just been informed also that he needs a pass reception.
Right.
And I honestly didn't know. He does have to have both feet in bounds when he catches the ball.
And he clearly didn't, so they had the ball at the 35-yard line. First and 10, Jets. Roger Vick gets only a couple.
You know,
in on the tackle.
The whole thing that makes that deal a little funny there is that you could clearly catch a ball that was in the limits of the playing field and yet have a foot out of bounds. And I guess by that interpretation of the rule, that makes the ball out of bounds.
Same as a pass.
Right, if you take that to its fruition, which really is a penalty against the kicking team. You know, I mean, you could split a hair there and say the ball wasn't out of bounds, and yet his body positioning put it out of bounds.
Second down and 7 with the ball at the 37-yard line. With Hector in motion, O'Brien throws. It's caught by Kuhn, and he takes it out to the 50-yard line. Kuhn's caught 4 tonight. He has a streak going. 41 consecutive games now in which he has caught 3 or more passes.
We talked about him being a possession receiver. He's such a good running receiver when he catches the football. He turns into a running back. Good move right here. Pops around Shane Conlon and gets the first down.
Al Toon has always, when he's running the football downfield, held that thing out in space in one hand. He doesn't fumble it very often, but that's a very distinctive running style of Al Toon after a catch.
First and 10 from the 49-yard line. O'Brien seeking Kuhn again, and he can't one-hand it, and gets knocked down by Leonard Smith in the process. Second and 10.
Well, that's a ball just thrown way too far out in front of Al Toon. He really didn't have a shot at that one at all.
A couple of real good ones in 1985. Toon, of course, the first-round draft pick for the Jets, and Jerry Rice, first-round pick for the 49ers.
Second and 10. McNeil to the 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 upcoming. Art Still in on the tackle.
Talk about 85 being a good year for receivers. Not a bad year for quarterbacks. 1983.
That tremendous draft with 6 quarterbacks going in the 1st round, including the 2 men you're looking at tonight. John Elway, Dan Marino, Tony Eason, and Todd Blackledge were the others.
10 overall taken in that year that are still active in the league.
All in the AFC, oddly enough. 3rd and 8. O'Brien under pressure. Gets it away to K.D. Dunn. Shovels it off, and Dunn takes it to the 48-yard line. The pressure that time applied by Wayne Davis, the cornerback. There he is, number 21.
You know, to take that one step further about the 83 draft, and as we look at one of the products of that draft, Kenny O'Brien, who really does a nice job getting out of the pocket and at the last minute getting rid of the football, very close to being in the grass, but he did get the completion, alertly dumping it off. But you know, Jim Kelly was the 2nd #1 draft choice of the Buffalo Bills that year. Actually, Tony Hunter, the tight end from Notre Dame, was their #1 choice. They took before Kelly.
Prokop's kick. Tucker fakes the catch at the 10, and the Jets are able to down it at the 1-yard line as Michael Harper is there. So any small victory in a storm, and that's what it is for the Jets, because they're down by 27.
Today it seems young parents have less time and a lot more to worry about. If I were a young father today, I'd want to know that my government wasn't blind to the changes in my life. I'd want my new president to be in touch with the things that are important to me and to my family. That's not a Democratic concern. It's not a Republican concern. That's a father's concern.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
That looks like Kurt driving the Pathfinder. Yep, I don't use my turn signal in the jungle.
We were looking for the lost city of Yashitlan. We were lost, so I figured we must be close.
Yashitlan is this incredible place. And you can't get there by tour bus.
The Goodyear Blimp America, based in Houston. Captained tonight by Aaron Jenkins from Spring, Texas. Looking down upon a once-filled Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But a lot of folks heading home early. Their Jets are down 34-7. Buffalo has the football at the 1-yard line. And a nice hole opens up for Carl Byram, who gives them a lot of breathing room as he gets close to a 1st down, taking it close to the 11-yard line.
And I mean, that's just the kind of thing you're not supposed to be able to do when you're backed up in your own end zone like that. I mean, it's tough to eke out yardage 1 or 2 at a time, and yet Buffalo, I guess, just playing to form the way they have all night, just slams it up in there and picks up 9 relatively easy yards.
2nd down, inches from the 11-yard line. Byram again. Out to the 14. Well, you take a look at the Bills. Early on, they were squeaking by. They beat Minnesota 13-10 in their opener. Beat Miami 9-6 in Game 2. Squeaked by New England 16-14. They weren't scoring very much early on. They got 36 against Pittsburgh. Really came to life in the second half last week against Indianapolis. And this team is rounding into top form. Very, very impressive.
The only one they really got pounded on was by the Chicago Bears, losing that one 24-3. But everybody had an off day out there, particularly their quarterback, Jim Kelly.
And a lot of the Bills said, hey, we needed that to wake us up.
Bears will make you have an off day.
Yep. Byram, and it's hard to believe as you see the way Buffalo has not only passed the ball but run the ball tonight, that in that game, the Bears held Buffalo to 0 yards rushing.
And Kevin MacArthur is now slow to get up, in fact, not getting up at all. And Bud Carson, his heart has to just be up in his throat at the prospect of losing another linebacker.
The crowd, believe it or not, I think the chant is "We want the pumpkin." There was a guy who was blowing up an inflated pumpkin. I know it's 2 weeks from Halloween, and they confiscated it. The security people did, and took it out, and the crowd is chanting, "We want the pumpkin."
Looking at this crowd, I think about security, I'd bring the pumpkin back. They're about to overrun our position.
There it was.
There's a good shot was of the guy trying to blow that thing up. He worked on it for about a half an hour.
They've carted him away.
It's something you see a great deal of on college campuses during college football games. And here comes the pumpkin.
They're bringing the pumpkin back. Can you believe this? A guy, look at this.
And they threw it back up in the stands. Here it comes.
They heard you, Frank. I think you're right.
Calm these dudes down a little bit.
You know, the Jets haven't played well when they've been upstaged by an inflatable pumpkin.
It's not easy to pass a pumpkin around.
That's the same reaction Kirk Gibson got when he came back out of nowhere the other night when they brought the pumpkin in.
Lost in all this is MacArthur was able to move off the field under his own power. But again, Dan touched on it. The Jets really hurting for linebackers. Earlier in the year that Lance Mel retired, Bob Crable was on IR with an injured knee. Alex Gordon, we talked about him all night. He's inactive tonight.
Whoa! Byram hit as he picks up a yard or so. It'll be 3rd down and 8 out of the 17-yard line. Kyle Clifton in on the tackle.
And Mark Gaston all right there with Clifton. I think Clifton's hurt.
And Will Wolford, I believe, is hurt for Buffalo. He was slow in getting up.
One of the Jets, is it Clifton that's going off over in the Jet sideline? As Al's right, there's Wolford hurt. No, that's Troy Benson, I believe. There's Clifton. Number 54, Troy Benson, is the linebacker that's hurt. Standing over on the sideline at the 25.
And an injured Bill, Will Wolford, is being helped off. Dr. Nicholas looking on, team position for the Jets.
So Wolford comes out of the game. He's replaced by Leonard Burton. The ball is at the 16-yard line. It's 3rd down and 8. 2:53 left, 3rd quarter. Bills on top 34-7. Kelly throwing, and it's caught for a 1st down by Flip Johnson. 1st down Buffalo with 2:37 to go in the 3rd period. And we've got smoke bombs going off. A very raucous and angry crowd here tonight. Not a very happy scene here.
Well,
and you can see how much it's emptied out. Look at how many empty seats you've got already.
At this rate, we'll outnumber them.
All I can say is we have seen in the last 15 minutes probably 3 or 4 brawls down in the stands. A lot of beer throwing. That's the 2nd time we've seen a fire in the upper deck.
From the 26-yard line, Kelly hits Metzelaars, and he is close to a 1st down as he's ridden down at the 36-yard line by Rich Miano.
I think serious for a moment. It's almost obscene. You wonder about somebody even considering taking their kids to a football game that gets out of control like this in the stands. Could be dangerous. And as a matter of fact, it is dangerous.
Well, it's been said before, but the shame of it all is that here you have over 70,000 people here, and it only takes a couple to really get it going. And the behavior of a couple hundred, unfortunately, reflects on everyone here.
2nd and 1 from the 36-yard line. And Kelly on a free play, in essence, going deep for Trumaine Johnson, and a little bit too deep. And nice coverage that time by Bobby Humphrey. He was with him step for step.
Again, Kelly with all the time in the world. He looked first to his left. That was Andre Reed, and he was picked up and covered very nicely over on the right side by Hasty. And still had the time to look to the far side of the field to Trumaine Johnson. And that takes an awful lot of time. Here's Trumaine.
Let's see if Johnson maintains an all-out sprint the whole way down there. He does, and I think he's a little mystified that the ball actually went that far. It looked like he didn't think that Jim Kelly could put that much air underneath the ball and get it that far.
As long as it took for him to deliver it, I would agree with him. He really put it out there.
3rd down and 1 at the 36-yard line. And a first down is picked up by Byram, moving through the middle.
And Troy Benson in on that tackle, so at least some good news for the Jets. Benson back in the ball game. There he is.
Jets will try to regroup, and they see Kelly tonight, and no rest for the weary. They get Marino next Sunday in Miami.
We'll see him November the 14th. Buffalo, that is. And it'll be interesting to see how they progress. Dan touched on something. I think he hit it right on the nose. When they were down 17-0 last week, and they came back to win over Indianapolis, that changed the entire character of this team. They're solid here tonight.
A minute to go, 3rd quarter. Thurman Thomas fumbles the football, and the Bills recover it. And that'd be Joe Devlin on the football, and it is the tackle.
I think Robin Cole was the Jet that got in there and actually forced the fumble. He'll come in from the right side of the screen. Yeah, that's Robin Cole, number 90, who strips the ball out of Thurman Thomas's arm. But why would you expect anything else other than for it to bounce right back into the arms of another blue-shirted Bill?
2nd and 11 at the 38-yard line. Kelly throws, and it's picked off at the 40-yard line, and there's McMillan going in for a touchdown.
Got this one, Dan.
The rookie out of Missouri, Eric McMillan, 40-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Very uncharacteristic of Kelly, though. He was looking at Metzelaars, the tight end, looked at him. McMillan came from a long way away. Dan, you said he's a fine athlete. He came a long way to make that interception.
And I'm going to pay off a debt right now, because he said to me, Dan, if I do something good tonight, would you say hi to my dad and tell him how much he means to me and how much I want him to be proud of me? Don't worry about it, Eric. I think he is.
Yep. That'll make a dad proud.
Again, Eric McMillan's father, Pro Bowl offensive tackle Ernie McMillan of the Cardinals back in the 60s and the 70s. One of the great offensive linemen of all time. And now relegated to the duty of just proud papa.
Not a bad role.
Leahy boots it through with 6 seconds to play in the period. 34-14.
Watch Kelly now. He's looking at Metzler from here on. He just waits. He doesn't even see McMillan, who came from about 20 yards off to pick it off and take it into the end zone.
And that's what you expect of your free safety. Come out of the blind side of the quarterback's view and make a big play.
Glasses on, please.
Okay, kids. Today we're going to demonstrate a discovery that could change your lives. Oh, really?
Fortune magazine called it a remarkable breakthrough. Time said it could change the world. They were talking about the Nobel Prize-winning discovery by 2 IBM scientists of a substance that carries electricity with no resistance and makes magnetic objects defy gravity. It could also lead to advances in many fields, such as transportation, medicine, and computers. It's a new kind of superconductor, one that works at more practical temperatures than ever before. This IBM achievement has sparked a new era of research and is fascinating not only scientists, but future scientists. Advances in superconductivity, another example of IBM technology at work.
There's a vacancy at the Bates Motel.
Buzz McKenzie, and it could be you. Look for this display and enter Bud Light Psycho Sweepstakes to win a Bud Light party with Buzz McKenzie at the Psycho Mansion. You can even get a mug like Spud's at participating retailers. Wow!
That Spuds is so cool, it's scary.
(34-14), Buffalo on top. 6 seconds to play in the third quarter after the McMillan interception run back for a touchdown. Leahy to kick off for the Jets. And this is Tucker taking it at the 14-yard line. Errol Tucker, good run back to the 40, and then tackled out at the 43-yard line by Carl Howard. And that will end the third quarter. At the end of 3, Buffalo 34, the Jets 14. We'll return to Giant Stadium after this message about an upcoming show on ABC and a word for your local station.
Most health problems haven't changed much over the years, but solutions have.
What are some of the latest developments in healthcare?
And how can they affect you and your family?
I'm Charles Gibson.
And I'm Joan London.
And we hope you'll join us this week for Good Morning America, special assignment, health.
Patrick Swayze.
Tonight on Nightcast, what's new in AIDS awareness? We'll have a look at a new campaign headquarters. And the diehard Buffalo Bills fans, these stories after the game.
In today's confusing world of health insurance, one company is your complete source for dependable, affordable hospital, doctor, and dental coverage. One company with the experience and the financial resources to provide you with fast, efficient service. Ask your employer for complete coverage from that one company. Blue Shield of Western New York. Carry the strength of the shield.
A lesson in Chevynomics.
Good things come in Chevy packages. One package on a Cavalier gives you power steering, auxiliary lighting, and a heavy-duty battery for only $3. You save $300 before you even make a deal. Sounds good to me. And for a limited time only, you can get an automatic transmission worth $415 free from your Chevy dealer.
Chevynomics. It adds up to more for less from your good neighbor Chevy dealer.
That's some package.
Cheers tomorrow at 5:30.
Start the fourth quarter, Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. The night belongs to Buffalo as we start the fourth period. They lead by 20. They have the ball first and 10 at their own 43-yard line. Keep it on the ground and give it to Thurman Thomas, and he fights his way out to the 48-yard line for a pickup of 5. The Buffalo Bills, and with a victory tonight, their mark of 6-1 would be equal to the best in the league, Cincinnati and Chicago and New Orleans, also 6-1.
And when you start talking about having almost 400 yards of total offense through only 45 minutes of football, those are big-time numbers. And the 292 yards passing by Jim Kelly, this certainly has to rank as one of his better days, at least thus far. Total domination across the board.
2nd and 4 from the 49-yard line. Through the middle, Byram again. He is what amounts to their 4th or 5th running back. They start tonight with Thurman Thomas and Jamie Mueller. Mueller didn't play much, and then they've got Rob Riddick, the short yardage man, and Ronnie Harmon, the pass receiving specialist, and Byram making his mark tonight.
Well, it's really a good chance for Marv Levy to give experience. A lot of times in professional football, you rarely have a lead this big, and even more so than college. Guys just don't get into football games other than covering punts or returning kickoffs. He's got a chance to give these guys some snaps from the line of scrimmage.
Might try a lot of different things. Here's Thomas. And Thurman Thomas takes the ball to the 41-yard line. Coming into the game tonight, Byram, who threw a block to pave the way that time on Gastineau. Byram had carried the ball 2 times all season, and tonight 12 times for 31 yards.
Rookie out of Oklahoma State. He does a lot of things. 2nd-round draft pick. He's taken the load primarily as a first-down running back. Good receiver. Came into the night with 12 receptions.
Second down, call it 5 at the 41-yard line. 12:53 remaining in the game. 34-14 Buffalo. Thomas inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2.5 upcoming. And we can remind you, coming up college football, you will see either Indiana against Michigan or the new #1 team in the country, Troy Aikman's UCLA Bruins against Arizona, 3:30 Eastern time. Regional coverage, check your local listings. Big one at Soldier Field next Monday for us, 9 o'clock Eastern time, the 49ers and the Bears.
How about Roger Craig yesterday?
190 yards.
90 yards.
We'll see Craig next week and Joe Montana, Jerry Rice against Jim McMahon and Chicago. Bears 6-1, Niners are 5-2. 3rd and 2 from the 37-yard line. And this is Riddick, who barrels his way to the 35-yard line, picks up a first down. Exactly what Buffalo wants to do. They're keeping the ball on the ground, churning out the first downs, chewing up the clock. 11:49 to play.
I'm not so sure at this point. Joe Walton wants them to do it also.
Well, it's really been that kind of a night for the Jets defensively. They just haven't been anywhere approaching the level of play to stop Buffalo. It took a pass interception by Eric McMillan to run it in for a touchdown, but you have to keep in mind that, you know, Buffalo started that drive at the 1.5-yard line and stuffed it all the way upfield before, you know, McMillan went ahead and made his play. And now here's Buffalo again driving, and it looks like unless something freakish happens, the Jets are powerless to stop them.
This was a defense that came in, the Jets defense, after 6 games, 5th in the NFL in giving up yardage. That'll disappear quickly.
At the 35-yard line, again, they stay on the ground. They give it to Thurman Thomas. And he's tackled by Robin Cole. No gain. Again, the Jets will go to Miami next week, and Buffalo goes home. And they have New England and Green Bay at home over the next 2 weeks. And then, as we mentioned, they play 5 of their last 7 games on the road. So this is an important win. It's going to give them a 2-game cushion at the end of 7 weeks with 7 down and 9 to go. And it will also make them 4-0 in the division, which is important if you get down to a tie-breaking situation. 2nd and 10 at the 35. Byram hit back of the line of scrimmage and then pummeled at the 40-yard line. Kevin MacArthur and Kyle Clifton, the initial hit.
One of the few times Buffalo has run the ball to the left. They have concentrated most of the night over the right side, going at Gastineau, and of course also at a spot vacated by Alex Gordon, who we mentioned many times is out of the game tonight on the inactive list. But they have done well over in the right side. That time Marty Lyons stuffed that pretty well.
Marty Lyons, I think, has played a pretty good ball game tonight. He's been in on a lot of plays, been holding his position well. Tough to find fault with the way number 93's played.
And they still haven't passed on this drive on 3rd and 13. The inside handoff to Harmon, who gets hit very hard by Carl Howard first and then Eric McMillan.
Good shot by McMillan coming up, just like you want your free safety to do. They can become quite an intimidator, and he's big, 6'2", and they list him at 197. Dan and I were looking at him down on the field. It's got to be much bigger than that.
Yeah, Frank, you and I were standing there. We're both looking at him going, no way this kid weighs 197 pounds. It's going to be McMillan there that puts on the big hit. Eric comes up and really staggers the ball carrier, and if he's not 210, I'd like to check the scale. If he weighs 197 on their scales, I'd like to weigh myself on their scale. What an ego booster that'd be.
For you, that'd be an earlobe. His daddy was big.
Yeah, his dad was only 6'6", about 280 pounds.
Offense. Buffalo lets the clock run down because the line of scrimmage is the 34. They're going to punt it anyway, and it really doesn't matter at this point. Game clock down to 8:57.
Delay, offense, decline.
And the Jets even decline it to make it tougher for Kidd to kick the ball out of bounds before kicking it into the end zone is what it amounts to.
And Marv Levy, who looking at what would have been a 51-yard field goal, decided, we got this thing 34-14, forget it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo lets the clock run all the way down here. Penalty's not going to make much difference. Maybe they'll go ahead and be charitable and kick it.
The 45-second clock was down to 3. There's a penalty flag. It bounces at the 10, and it's down at the 3, and we'll see about the flag back at the 35-yard line. Illegal motion is the call against the Bills. Marv Levy, he's been around. Marv Levy is one of the few coaches in the history of the NFL who's coached more than 100
Illegal
games.
motion, number 88, offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Illegal motion, still 4th down. Levy has coached more than 100 games without ever coaching a postseason game. And there it is, 8th year as a head coach.
Done it all, too. Of course, he was with Kansas City for 5 of those years. He was up in Montreal as a head coach with George Allen with the Washington Redskins, also the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, the dubious record, most games coached without going to the playoffs, would belong to the Dutchman, Norm Van Brocklin, who coached 173 and never made it to postseason. Kid's kick, caught at the 14-yard line, fair caught by JoJo Townsell. 8:15 left in the 4th after a 25-yard punt. Buffalo 34, the New York Jets 14.
When the engineers at Nissan designed the new 240SX, they wanted it to have certain acceleration characteristics. The Nissan 240SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
One was named Wilbur, the other Orville. Two brothers who shared a belief. A belief that when the fundamentals of aeronautics were properly applied, man could fly. At Raytheon, we haven't forgotten their lesson. Consider the revolutionary new Starship from Beech Aircraft, a Raytheon company. Many of the fundamentals are the same as the one built by Wilbur and Orville. Raytheon, where quality starts with fundamentals.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money. Yeah.
I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
It's back. It's going. Gone. That's out of here.
This and every sunset is brought to you by Michelob, proud sponsors of night games everywhere. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob?
Joe Montana leads the 49ers against Jim McMahon and the Chicago Bears as two of the NFL's top quarterbacks take the field next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Very long night for Ken O'Brien and the New York Jets, who trail 34-14, 8:15 remaining in the 4th quarter at Giant Stadium. Bills are on the verge of going 6-1. Jets would be 3-3-1 and drop to 3rd behind Miami in the AFC. Jets have the ball at their own 15. 1st and 10. O'Brien sacked again at the 8-yard line. Jeff Wright and Leon Seals, 2 backups, converge for the sack.
All of that by keeping a tight end in, trying to get the blocking. They put 3 receivers in the pattern, picked up by 6 Bills in their nickel defense.
Second and 15. They go without a huddle. O'Brien shoots one out to Grigg, and the tight end gets hit and dropped at the 21-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4 with under 8 minutes now to play.
The terminology for that sack of O'Brien on the previous play is called a coverage sack, where really the quarterback has ample time to throw the football, but he just really has no one to throw it to because of the quality of the coverage. So chalk that one up as a coverage sack. And the Jets trying to hustle and move things along.
On 3rd down, O'Brien lost the ball, got it back, and then shovels it to Griggs, and he gets hit hard. Loose ball at the 24-yard line, and the Buffalo Bills have recovered it.
Well, you know, there's an interesting question here. Did we just see 2 forward passes?
Good question.
I mean, because that's illegal. You cannot have 2 forward passes. Watch this. Watch this throw by Kenny O'Brien, or whatever it is. Well, his intent was to throw, but the ball actually never started forward. I guess that actually goes down as nothing. A bobble.
That happens on a warm night, though. You don't wear a sweatband. It gets your hands, gets the sweat from the wrist. Up pops the ball. And just about everything has happened to Joe Walton tonight.
So he completes the pass. And then Griggs coughs it up. Buffalo recovers at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10. 7:19 remaining. Thurman Thomas inside the 20, flag down inside the 10, and he's dropped at the 1-yard line.
That's going to come back.
That'll be a hold.
And there's at least something favorable that's gone the way of the Jets. A very authoritative throw by the umpire.
And here's Jorgensen's call.
Holding, number 51, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Holding on Jim Richter. Meanwhile, Frank Reich, the new Buffalo quarterback, as Kelly has guided them to a 20-point cushion and a very safe cushion. And Frank Reich, the 4th-year quarterback out of Maryland, takes over. So they're not going to take any chances with Kelly getting hurt at the end of a game they've already sewn up. And a good opportunity to give Reich some work, because they're staying on the ground anyway is what it amounts to. 1st and 20 from the 34-yard line.
Don't be so sure.
Not here, yeah, not a 1st and 20. The flag goes down. Riddick barrels his way through the middle, stays on his feet, and takes it to the 12-yard line. And again, a marker down at the inception of the play. Kelly comes out.
Offside, number 90, defense, decline.
Robin Cole.
Yeah, these movies are going to be like poltergeists for the Jets.
You know what comes to mind? I think Hank Stram, who's here doing the game tonight on radio, was the coach of the New Orleans Saints. And he was the first coach of the first team that lost to Tampa Bay. And I know that rather than watch the films, they had a little ceremony out at the 50-yard line on the practice field where they put them in a trash can and burned them. And there's a shot of Hank Stram.
Yeah, looking real good after his recent surgery, too.
And I'd have to think that that's an option that Joe Walton has to consider after this game tonight.
A tribal right from the 13-yard line. Riddick to the 10.
The way it's gone, Dan, they wouldn't burn.
Frank, you might be right.
Not a bad birthday present for owner Ralph Wilson, celebrating his birthday today. 29 years he's owned the Buffalo Bills. They go all the way back to the American Football League. They've had some dramatic moments. Remember the great games with O.J. Simpson. But as we touched on earlier, have not had a winning season since 1981. They're looking at one now, and a big one. Solid offense, and we've seen a lot of it tonight, but where they have the potential is on defense.
This is a great shot. I love this shot from up above. Good view of what's happening.
2nd and 8. This is Riddick. Takes it into the 9-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6 with 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the game.
Gets me a little dizzy, Dan. Looking straight down on it. Quite a camera they have in that left.
The ultimate Skycam, right?
Ah.
Bill Sullivan, our cameraman in the blimp, bringing you the action from the 9-yard line where it's 3rd down and 6. Frank Reich pitches it to Riddick. He drops the football and gets it back at the 10-yard line. So Buffalo will have to settle for a field goal attempt as Norwood, who now leads the league in scoring after his performance tonight, comes in to try to tack on 3 more. Scott Norwood, so big a part of the early season victories when they were in defensive struggles, and relied on his foot. And there it is, right up to date. Rich Carlos of Denver, second with 62. Morton Anderson. And Bell of the Rams is the only non-kicker among the top 5. 28-yard attempt is good. 3 more for Norwood. 3:48 left in the game. And Buffalo now leads it 37-14.
When the stars come out to play, babe, a twinkling show, ooh, dinner out of sight. Yeah, the night time is golden light time. Big Dipper at McDonald's. Showtime is night tonight.
In the next 4 years, somebody is going to have to continue the arms limitation talks with Gorbachev. Somebody is going to have to find out if Gorbachev is for real. Somebody is going to have to deal with him and look him in the eye and not blink. This is no time for uncertainty, no time to train somebody in how to meet with the Russians. This is the time for strength and experience. This is the time for somebody who is ready on day 1 to be a great president.
That looks like Kurt driving the Pathfinder. Yep, I don't use my turn signal in the jungle.
We were looking for the lost city of Yaxchitlan. We were lost, so I figured we must be close.
Yaxchitlan is this incredible place. And you can't get there by tour bus.
It's 2 key conference games on the road to the Rose Bowl. Undefeated Indiana meets Michigan, or #1 UCLA tackles Arizona, Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Long time between Monday night performances for the Buffalo Bills, but for the fans in Buffalo, well worth the wait, the way things have turned out tonight.
By the way, Al, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. See you guys. I'm out of here.
We saw where Norwood, the guy just kicking off, is the NFL leader in points. I'll give you Andre Reed's stats here in a moment.
Kurt Sohn returning the kick. And he brings it back out to the 24-yard line. And we'll have those stats from the mouth of the Double D when we come back right after this.
Announcing the Holiday Inn Make the Super Call game. Come to Holiday Inn, get a game card. Now, Super Bowl 18. 4 minutes to go. Raiders face a 4th and goal. You call it. Scratch off the right play, and you win. Thousands of prizes. Even a trip to the Super Bowl. Everybody's getting into it.
Only at America's favorite hotel. For reservations, make the Super Call. An ATV is a lot of fun, but it should be taken seriously. So if you ride one, you better follow these instructions. Always wear a helmet and protective clothing. Children under 16 need adult supervision. Children under 16 should never ride adult-sized machines. Inexperienced riders should take a qualified training course. Riding an ATV the wrong way could lead to serious or even fatal injury. If you're gonna play, play it safe.
Charlie's dad is a dentist, so when Charlie gets some teeth, chances are he'll chew great-tasting Trident, because more dentists and their families chew Trident than all other sugarless gums combined. Trident. Millions of teeth can't be wrong.
In 1.3 billion years, our sun will burn out, leaving us in total darkness. We say it's never too early to stock up for the big night. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob Light?
Interesting young man, our Travelers Man of the Year for the Buffalo Bills. This is Mark Kelso, and a real overachiever. Came up 3 years ago as a free agent out of William & Mary, one of the coaching stops for Marv Levy, and has turned into a fine safety man for them. An academic All-American, on the NCAA postgraduate scholarship, and as I said, has turned into a very unlikely fine performer at the free safety. Of course, Travelers will announce their Man of the Year for the NFL at the Super Bowl. Kind of fun to report on these players. We hear so much on the other side of the coin, but there are so many of them that do so much for the community, the things they get involved in, and we don't seem to read about that or hear about that as much as we should.
Meanwhile, there is an injured Jet player, and we think it's Nu'u Fa'aola.
And it's unfortunately serious enough that they're wheeling a stretcher out onto the field. And that is never a good sign. They bring out the equipment to immobilize him. We can't 100% ID him because of the crowd of people that has been around the injured player.
That's Dr. Nicholas, the team doctor for the Jets, who is almost, does appear almost holding the neck steady. And
that is Fa'aola. That is Nu'u Fa'aola. And it's foolish for us to speculate, and we will not. But all I can tell you is that's the scariest thing a player ever sees, a player being immobilized like that with a doctor holding his head. As you can see, the concern spreads to both teams.
Very quiet stadium now. Much of this crowd has already departed, but those that have remained have a very raucous, rowdy, at times obscene crowd. Have now been quieted by the injury to Fa'aola.
And this comes with 3:37 left in the game, a game that's been over for a while. The Bills on top, scoring early, scoring often, leading 37-14.
You think of the injury just in the past week for the Jets, losing Dave Cadigan, their rookie #1 draft pick at tackle. He's out for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks on the injured reserve. Had been slated to start. He was stepped on in practice on Friday. Bill Walton got word that Alex Gordon, his second-year linebacker and such a good performer, also could not go because of a bruised thigh. That might keep him out for some time. Mickey Schuler, we talked about, pinched a nerve in the neck. They don't know how long he's going to be gone. He cannot raise his right arm.
And all I can tell you right now, Frank, is, and you're right when you talk about the Jets, but it's tough to concentrate on those things because anyone who has ever played this game, anyone who's ever played any athletics and has been around athletes when they've been injured right now has to have a sick feeling in the pit of their stomach. I know I do, because this is as serious as it gets.
Obviously, every care is being taken. Dr. Nicholas, one of the renowned orthopedic surgeons, is right there. And as Dan mentioned, he has appeared to have immobilized the neck of Nu'u Fa'aola.
And again, we can only hope and pray it turns out as well as the last time I can think of something like this happening in a Monday night game. We go back to Green Bay 2 years ago, Frank, when they had to take Tim Lewis off the field, and eventually it meant the end of Tim's football career, but the injury was not nearly as serious, but because of a spinal problem, a previous problem, they suggested that he retire.
Certainly was resolved better than we ever thought it would at the time.
Absolutely.
We certainly are hoping, and as you said, praying here at the moment.
Guys, how about if we take a look at what happens? Let's see if we can see where Fa'aola gets injured. I think the guys have it. He's in the upper right hand. Is this him right here? This is Fa'aola right here. Let's follow the play on through to its conclusion. He's going to attempt to put a block on one of the Buffalo Bills. And there's where the collision comes in right there. He's knocked off of his block. And you can see him go face first to the turf. He was attempting to block one man, and then another player, I believe that's number 97, Scott Radisek, actually makes inadvertent contact with Nu'u Fa'aola. And I think that expression of concern on Marty Lyon's face pretty much says it all.
We hopefully can give you a report 3:37 remaining in the game. We don't know whether we will have time, but we certainly will try. And again, concern written all over the face of not only the Jets, but the Bills. This is a nonpartisan happening, and this sort of an injury takes place on a football field.
So Fa'aolo, who has been such a huge part of the Jets special teams performances for his 3 years in the league. Backup fullback. And again, as soon as we get the report from the Jets locker room, we will pass along anything we know to you. So play resumes with the Jets at the 24-yard line, and out of the shotgun, Freeman McNeil is taken down for a 2-yard loss. Jeff Wright, number 91, who backs up Fred Smerlis at nose tackle, makes the stop without a huddle now. 2nd down and 12 from the 22-yard line. And O'Brien with a flag thrown, going deep, and the catch is made at the 44-yard line by Al Toon. Covered by Errol Tucker, took it away from him, but a flag's down back at the 13-yard line.
That's what Al Toon can do. We talked about it earlier. He can go deep. They use him as a possession receiver, but at 6'4", he'll take it away from a smaller cornerback, as he did right there, to no avail, because they're going to bring it back. What could make the highlight reel for this game tonight, however.
To the face, number 53, offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
Penalty on the center, Jim Sweeney.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or any other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
And if you videotape it, you can put it out there in the middle of the field with the Jets game footage.
Unless you live in Buffalo, then you got to love every minute of it. 2nd and 22. Freeman McNeil out past the 20 and heads to the sideline at the 24. And he's short of the first down by about 10, with 3rd down upcoming.
You're right about if you're a follower of the Buffalo Bills. You come out of this game,
a lot of highlights out of this one,
having watched a total dismemberment of the New York Jets and drawing a lot of conclusions. Number one is, not only are we off to an unbelievable 6-1 start, but this is a club that appears to be solid top to bottom.
And really a club just beginning to come into its own now after sort of a shaky start, despite the victories, especially offensively. O'Brien throws, and it's complete to the tight end, K.D. Dunn, and he has a first down out of the 35-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go.
You know who has really escaped us all evening is Derek Burrows, the cornerback for Buffalo, had such a tough week last week in Cincinnati. I mean, not in Cincinnati, but Indianapolis. And he's played well tonight, and this club is resilient, if nothing else.
A lot of the reason, I think, too, Dan, would go to the fact without Mickey Schuler in there, they were able to give Burrows a lot of help, a lot of zone, a lot of double coverage, and they really only had to concentrate on the 2 outside receivers for the most part, Al Toon and Wesley Walker.
Valid point. Yep. You take away in Schuler, the guy who came into the game not only leading the team in receptions with 35, but he was tied with Andre Reed for the AFC lead. Schuler spending tonight on the bench, a big blow to the Jets offense. Here's Freeman McNeil taking it out to the 42-yard line, and that will probably take us to the 2-minute warning.
And on 2nd down and long yardage, there weren't enough Jets fans left in the stadium to even protest that call.
With 2:02 to play, they do get the play off out of the shotgun without the huddle. It's caught by K.D. Dunn. And he has a first down out of the 46, and here comes your 2-minute warning with 1:56 remaining. All Buffalo. Bills 37, Jets 14.
It's called triple jump checkers. On every one of these cards,
you have a chance of winning.
I want the Carnival cruise.
What would you do on a cruise?
Maybe I'd meet someone.
Yeah, right.
What's the worst? Oh, I can't wait to get the Pontiac Grand Prix. Take a trip down to Atlantic City.
I'm going for the big one, the 1 mil.
Yeah, me too.
5-1, man.
Let Mate show you how it's done.
Mate. All right, here we go.
All right.
Take a trip to Burger King.
What dry was, what dry will be. From now on, this is what dry is. Coming November 7th.
What do we mean when we say the new Nissan 240SX is uniquely designed to provide excellent cornering? The Nissan 240SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
Well, Jim Kelly made his first ever Monday night appearance tonight, and he made it a pretty memorable one. Big night after a big second half last week against Indianapolis. Meanwhile, the Jet story, there it is. Those are the Walton years. As you can see, they've gotten off to great starts. And then the rest of the season has been a whole other story, year after year, as O'Brien finds K.D. Dunn, who's caught 3 balls on this late drive. He takes it to the 45-yard line, and it is short of the first down by less than a yard. O'Brien puts it up again and wide open. K.D. Dunn. This is going to look pretty good on the stat sheet. Kind of meaningless in the overall scheme of things, but not bad when you catch 4 balls on 1 drive. And timeout taken by the Jets with 1:30 remaining.
Did they really take a timeout?
Yeah, they really did. And they got booed by the 47 people who remain at Giant Stadium.
I wonder if Kenny's asking, Coach, how can we pull this out?
He's saying, remember the Raiders?
Yeah, right. Well, what a night for the Bills. Of course, we had Cornelius Bennett, and Cornelius didn't figure in a lot of tackles. A dream come true for him tonight, though. He appeared on Monday Night Football. We'll make his other dream come true, too. Cornelius, just simply a shadow of your former self. A man who played a tertiary role in this particular performance, but one to be reckoned with in the far distant future. There he is, number 55.
You have gone over the edge.
Well, it's past midnight.
Totally destroyed my night.
Mine too. From the 27. O'Brien throws complete to Griggs at the 22.
I guess this is where I'm supposed to sing.
that was the lead-in. Second down and 6 from the 23. And O'Brien throws, and it's tipped incomplete. We're getting a report from the Jets locker room, and the first news is pretty good. He's new foul is conscious. It's a neck injury. He is talking to the doctors. So at least a nice little ray of hope there on the initial report.
The X-rays are next in line, and of course all NFL facilities, all stadiums in the league have their own X-ray equipment right in the ballpark, but it's highly doubtful that we'll get any sort of a result from those X-rays before we go off the air tonight.
Third down and 6. O'Brien incomplete, intended for Toon.
And I really need somebody to explain to me why Joe Walton is allowing Kenny O'Brien to take this beating. I mean, this is a game clearly now that is unwinnable. You can salvage some pride at the end, I guess, but Kenny O'Brien is taking a beating, and that was a healthy shot right there that knocked him a good 4 yards backwards. I really have to question Joe Walton here.
And I think that's just what he told him. I think that's exactly what he told him. We'll see when he comes up to the line of scrimmage.
Backup quarterback is Pat Ryan.
Well, what he should tell him, Frank, is to sit down.
And have Ryan in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is insane.
4th and 6. This time he doesn't get hit, but the throw is out of bounds, intended for K.D. Dunn. And there's a flag down. Why not?
I mean, I understand what Joe is thinking. I remember when I played for Don Coryell, it didn't matter how far we were behind. You kept going. You kept going. You never admitted defeat. But when you're dealing with your starting quarterback, and without Kenny O'Brien...
use of the hands, 85, offense, decline, first down.
Without Kenny O'Brien, I mean, the Jets offensively are finished. And, you know, Joe Walton, I guess, has to know that he's taking a terrible risk.
Gotta run one play. Let's get a full group in.
Got to run one play. You can hear Marv Levy saying, we got to run one play, get a full group in. And a nice ride back home as the Bills shuffle off back to Buffalo.
And it looks like Andre Reed won't catch another pass tonight. I promised you his numbers. He's got 7 receptions on the night, 132 yards and a pair of touchdowns. And, of course, that now ties him for the lead in the National Football League in receptions.
14 receptions in 2 games, 4 touchdowns. Give me some math on it, Al. 124 to 132.
Is 256. Not bad.
Not bad. Billy Crystal.
Yeah, right.
Al doing that, of course, on his secret decoder computer calculator watch.
Right, which I got for being on a St. Louis Cardinal pregame show many years ago with Jack Buck. Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills. And our thanks to our stellar crew, Ken Wolf and Craig Janoff, heading it.
Well, Jim Kelly, a long way from Soldier Field, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Our boys upstairs here, Malibu Kelly Hayes, and George Hill of the Desert, as we wrap it up from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, where the Buffalo Bills rout the New York Jets, lead by 2 over Miami in the AFC East. And 2.5 over the Jets. And last week, down 17-0, come from behind to defeat Indianapolis, and tonight take care of the Jets 37-14 in a game really not even as close as the score would indicate. 23-point margin seemed more like 50. So that's the story from Giant Stadium.
NEW New York.
Little boy, listen, because you got another thing coming if you think you're going to act so dreadful around Clara.
And Rex Reed declares Whoopi Goldberg gives a performance of such wisdom and tenderness that she reaches new heights. Clara's heart has certainly captured mine.
You can depend on me.
Whoopi Goldberg, Clara's Heart, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 21st at a theater near you.
McDonald's new country style McChicken sandwich. Come and get it. Now get that all-white breasted chicken. Cooked up country style. Juicy on the inside, crispy coating on the out, and lettuce and mayo.
That's what country style's about. Come and get it. All-white breasted chicken. McChicken.
Take you back to Mama's kitchen.
Come and get it.
Country style McChicken on a bun.
Chicken.
Good time, great taste of McDonald's new McChicken.
Joel Gray in Cabaret after the game on Nightside.
It's the Jim Kelly Show with Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly and TV2 Sports Director Ed Kilgore. Brought to you by the Mancuso family of dealerships. Come join our family. And by Smith Boys Marine, now with 3 locations. If it isn't a Sea Ray from Smith Boys, you've missed the boat.
Welcome once again to the Jim Kelly Show. And boy, do we have a lot of positive things tonight to talk about. Jim, virtually nothing negative from this guy tonight. 4 touchdown passes. Three of them to the Bills. you knew I was going to get that in there.
Of course, Ed. You always have to get me one way or another. I'm used to it by now.
Seriously, a tremendous performance on Monday night, and I know it had to be gratifying because if you ever want to look good, it's in front of the national media. All your peers are watching, and you just blew them out. 31-6 at the half, or 31-7 at the half, and then, of course, the final.
I think it surprised everybody, especially jumping out in front. 31-7 going into half. And one thing we said when we got into the locker room, we've been in this situation too many times. We've been the team that's been behind, and we had to come back. So we had to play a little opposite role there. We had to change everything and say, let's jump on, we get the ball back, let's take it down and score. And Coach Levy said the right things at halftime. And I don't think it was going to be too much that was going to put us down for that game. As a matter of fact, Bruce Smith, I never seen him so pumped up before a game in my life. And he was excited. Everybody was excited. And, right before the game, they'd come in and tell us just 2 minutes, before we had to go out. Everybody wanted to go out right away. And nobody wanted to wait. Everybody's pumped up. And I knew something was going to happen, especially on that first drive we went down. And then the one to flip Johnson, the deflection, touchdown. I knew things had to go our way.
Now, as I understand it, you came into this game not really with the intention of being quite so wide open. I mean, is that, at least I read that. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, the thing is, we wanted to mix it up, and we studied film on them, and they were giving us the same defenses that we thought they were going to go into, and it's just a matter of getting in the right play at the right time. I had a couple audibles, but I didn't audible near as much as I usually do. And one big thing that really made the offense click, and that was the offensive line giving me time to throw. Going into the game, you heard so much about Mark Gastineau and Marty Lyons. They're coming off great games. They're back to their old form. Well, our offensive line manhandled these guys, and it's something that we needed to do. Jimmy Richards on my show tonight did an excellent job against Marty Lyons. He pulled on some traps, made some big plays. Ken Hall, Joe Devlin, Will Wilford, and of course Tim Vogler was a little sore. He made through the whole game. And believe me, he's one sore puppy today.
About the most exposure that Gastineau had last night, Jim, was they had a halftime feature with he and Bridget. But that was about all you saw of him. Let's take a look at the Bills' defense, first of all, because they certainly did an outstanding job. And here we see some of the plays. Shane Conlon, who always seems to play well in New York.
Shane plays well everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Shane's a super ball player, and he's the catalyst of our defense. He gets everybody fired up. And like I said before the game, Bruce was pumped up, and I think you can tell he's doing his little jig. He's ready to take on anybody now. He's like,
I guess they didn't like his little celebration there, which of course Gastineau never does. There's Bruce
trying to get that. Look at the official in the middle. He was kind of pumped up there too, wasn't he?
Now watch the move here. Now this guy, you know how big Bruce is, but look at this move here. Little pivot.
That was a great move, but I don't know if you have it on film, but he lays one move on this guy that guy had not even a chance.
Here's a nice coverage by Nate Odoms, as the secondary did a good job.
That's why Nate Odoms was rookie, one of rookies, first-team rookies last year as far as defensive.
Oh, here's another.
That's the one I was telling you about. Bruce Smith is just so quick on there, and you can talk to Jimmy later about Bruce. There's not too many guys that can block him, and when he's fired up, I'm just glad he's on my side of the ball.
Now let's take a look at some of the offense, and of course the play that really set the tone for this game. You had the nice drive opening, but then when you hit the bomb there to Andre, that just seemed to really set the tone. What was the play?
It was a bomb. It was called 949, which means both outside guys are just taking it deep, and I'm just going to air it out and tell them to put the turbos on. It's the way I put it. But I told Andre before we broke the huddle, I said, for in the cover 2 corner roll, I said, get around the corner, go outside, and I'll try to hit you in the seam. And we knew Cincinnati burnt the Jets twice on this play the previous week, where the safety tries to get over there. They tried to disguise the coverage, but I think he underestimated Andre's speed a little bit. And we talked before the game, this was something that Andre Reed needed. He needed the exposure. He needed to get his name out there. I think people know Andre Reed's for real now.
Well, that's right, and who knows, maybe both of you will be on the plane to Hawaii a little bit later on.
Well, our main goal right now is to make the playoffs. Whether Andre gets there, myself, or anybody else, we play as a team, we win as a team, and that's our goal right now, and that's the standard that we're looking for.
Jimmy, you've lost some touchdown passes this year with officials' calls and different things, but here's one that you sort of maybe makes up for at least one of those, the pass to Flip Johnson.
The way I put it, you take it any way you can get it. I tried to lay this up over because the guy had robbed pretty good, and it's just got lucky here. And it's one of those things when your breaks are going your way, they go your way. And Flip Johnson shows his speed. 28, Howard almost catches him, but like I said, Flip made some great plays in the preseason. He's finally getting a chance to show what he can do now, and he's had some good catches.
You know, he seems like one of those kind of guys. You know, some people just seem to make things happen, and Flip seems to be one of those kind of guys.
Right place, right time to stand there. He was very well covered by Hasty, and right here, great block by Rob Riddick, and just got around for the touchdown.
There's the ground level. And boom, and away he goes.
And after this play, I knew everything had to go our way. It's like, the good Lord's with us now.
That is for sure. Okay, we're going to be back to see more of this Bills demolishment of the Jets, as it were, in just a moment.
A great one when I see one. That's why I chose Mancuso family of dealerships.
The Mancuso family of dealerships is proud to announce its newest addition, Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, 5160 Camp Road in Hamburg. They're dealing to become Western New York's largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership at Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, Hamburg.
You know, the way Charlie Mancuso deals, he might even give you the shirt off his back.
Find out why Jim Kelly chose us.
If you're a boater, you know the name Sea Ray and Merc Cruiser is synonymous with outstanding quality in fiberglass pleasure boats. But did you know that Sea Ray builds over 60 different models in 16 to 46 feet? With an alternate choice of styling and features as well as size, Sea Ray sport boats are in a class of their own. Their quality sets standards against which all other sport boats may be measured. And affordable, you bet. Smith Boys is your authorized Merc Cruiser dealer. And remember, if it isn't a Sea Ray from Smith Boys, you've missed the boat.
Hey, Fred, give me a pizza with extra cheese.
Extra cheese.
And hold the tomato sauce.
Hold the tomato sauce.
And hold the crust.
Hold the crust.
Hey, Jimmy, give me a cheese with nut.
Nothing?
Now you can have the best part of the pizza without the pizza. Polly-O string cheese, all natural, individually wrapped cheese snacks.
Is this what you want?
Bellissimo. Magnifique.
C'est bon. Try Polly-O string cheese. It's the best part of the pizza.
Crank it up and let it start. We got victory in our hearts.
You can feel the team spirit at a high school football game, and News Center 2 Sports brings it to you every weekend.
Hey, team, we're trucking on through.
Friday kicks off the area's most extensive game coverage. Saturday, catch high school highlights of your home team. And Monday, the coaches have their say on the TV2 Top 10 poll.
Hey, team.
This weekend, your high school football headquarters is only on News Center 2 Sports.
We're coming after you.
Again, the Bills just offensively doing everything right in this game. Jim, let's talk now. Andre, of course, had that great night you were talking about, 7 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, let's look at this third drive, and again, you march right down the field.
Yeah, it's one thing you see is great protection by the offensive line. Andre's option pass for Andre to break in or out, and he makes a good break to the sideline, third down. He knew exactly what yards we needed, and, Tremaine Johnson right there had a good route taking him upfield and clearing out for him.
And here you go to Metzlar's.
It's a fake handoff to try to get the defense come one way. Ken Hall makes a good catch there, as far as block. And Pete, a big, long body, but Pete can catch the ball, and he makes a great play and gets that first down.
All right, and here's the touchdown now as Riddick takes it up high.
Airborne Riddick. Anytime he's in there, I think some of these teams are going to start putting their linebackers in there to say, fly through the air, because that's where Rob's going to go. But he seems to get in there every time.
He does. When he's close to the end zone, his number is the one you want to call.
No doubt.
So now you were really in control at this point. Is there any tendency to start thinking, my gosh, should we sit on this, or do we keep going for more? Or?
One thing you have to do is, I think in the second half we controlled the ball. We ran the ball very well. The offensive line was taking advantage of what they had across the line. We were running towards Mark Gastineau a lot, because as good of defender as Marty Lyons is. And it's just a matter of taking advantage of what what we see up front. And we had Joe Devlin and Jimmy Richard and Tim Vogler a lot of times pulling, and we run some counters, and it seemed to work.
Now we have another pass to Andre here that picks up 16 yards. Let's take a look at this one.
And the touchdown. Same one last week. We had 2 touchdowns, the same pattern. Andre just makes him think he's going to the inside, and he breaks to the flag. And I think, again, they underestimated his speed. And here's a great play right there. See his second foot? He taps in and gets 6 points. Right here shows another angle of it. If you can see his foot. taps in, and that's a sign of a good receiver. And through the whole day, not just Andre Reed, but Tremaine Johnson had a very good game, caught a couple across the middle. Flip Johnson came on, did a very good job. Pete Metzlars. My running backs didn't have as many catches, but they proved it on the ground game.
Boy, you did, and you got a lot. Anytime you rush the ball at least 40 times, excuse me, you have to feel good about it. And I think you had like 46 rushing attempts. Usually you're going to win a ball game when that happens.
Yeah, I think the time of possession was 40 minutes to 20. We doubled what they had, and it's just a matter of keeping them off the field. If you can believe this, Darryl Telley and Bruce and them were kind of mad. They're like, give us a chance. This is national audience, Monday Night Football. We want to play. And then he really thought about it and said, maybe, man, it's right. We're never going to argue about this. But they were kind of disappointed they didn't get to play as much. But I bet in games down the road, they're not going to say that very much.
That's right. Jim, it was almost a perfect game. Almost a perfect game.
Nobody's perfect.
Here's the toss to Eric McMillan over the middle, and explain what happened here.
Things happen. I just got blitzed, and he stepped in, made a good play.
Is that the first time you've had one return for a touchdown? Usually you're able to get them.
That's the first time.
It was a little too close to the end zone. Usually you get the angle and...
Yeah, but they just made a good play. It's something that we only need really to show one time. I don't know why you're showing this again.
That was
the good plays.
The
twice.
Producer in there, yeah, Boomer. See, Boomer was. He said, I got to get that in there. But
oh well.
Now the mood of the team right now, Jim. Last year it was probably about the same after you beat Indy, and you knew you just had a couple games to go and you were in the playoffs. Is that experience helpful right now?
It definitely is, especially, the two losses that we had last year at the end of the season, Philadelphia and New England. It's a bitter feeling, and I know a lot of players still remember it. I know Jim Kelly does, especially at New England game, but it's something we all matured. We all got a lot better. We got some added players in here that's going to help us, and Ralph Wilson, Bill Pullian were dedicated to bring those players in that we needed. And I think we're improving week by week. It's just a matter of nobody getting cocky and know that each week we have to go out and prepare and get ready for the next opponent. And believe me, when you're in the NFL, no games are easy.
Well, that's been proven out so far this year. We're going to be back to talk to offensive guard Jim Richer in just a moment.
Pepperidge Farm's new Apple Crisp. It's a single serving of fresh apples with a Bordeaux cookie topping. Just enough for one. I like that in a dessert. Pepperidge Farm believes if you want a better pizza, don't change the topping, change the bottom. Pepperidge Farm croissant crust pizza. Why, they've actually improved pizza.
The Special Olympics is making it great for thousands of children and adults with mental retardation. And Pizza Hut is helping make it even greater for our area Special Olympians. By purchasing the special full-color Buffalo Bills calendar at participating Pizza Hut restaurants, you'll be helping send our Special Olympians to the 89 games. And while you're at Pizza Hut, you'll have a chance to send yourself to the NFL Pro Bowl game in Hawaii. No purchase necessary. Yes, Pizza Hut's making it great for you and our Special Olympians.
No one makes a cheese like McCain, nowhere in the world. Any other cheese you can name isn't anything like McCain.
McCain calls on 100 years of cheese making to create a cheese of vintage character. Smooth as you like it. Smooth as the fresh milk it's made from.
No one makes a cheese like McCain.
McCain, smooth as the fresh milk it's made from. Look for the McCain family of fine cheese products.
I may be young, but I've struck a number of great deals, and I know a great one when I see one. That's why I chose Mancuso family of dealerships.
The Mancuso family of dealerships is proud to announce its newest addition, Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, 5160 Camp Road in Hamburg. They're dealing to become Western New York's largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership at Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, Hamburg.
The way Charlie Mancuso deals, he might even give you the shirt off his back.
Find out why Jim Kelly chose us.
Jim Richer joins us now, and here's a guy that's been around. He's one of the few guys that remembers what it's like to play on Monday night. In fact, I think you, Fred...
A few times, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you have some good memories and some bad ones, too, I suppose, of Monday night. But Jim, of course, the Outland Trophy winner, North Carolina State, came here as a center back in 1980, and then they switched you. How did you feel about that at the time, Jim?
I was glad to get rid of the ball. I didn't want to touch it anymore. I was glad to be put at guard.
Did it take a while to adjust, though?
Not really. It was easier, actually.
easier. Geez, I know because Ken Hall, I know every time we get into the huddle or something happens to Kent, we said, Kent, don't go down because we don't know who's going to go in center, whether it's going to be Tim Vogler. Before it was Trainowitz, but he's no longer with us. And, you know, I already told Jim before the show, you know, we're not going to talk too much football because he has a hobby he'd like to talk about. That's flying an airplane. And last night on the way home, we got in about 4 in the morning, and we landed like this. The thing was, we didn't see Jim the whole flight. And I just want to ask him, who's flying the plane?
It wasn't me, or it would have been a lot smoother than
Were you
that.
in the cockpit, though?
I was in the cockpit.
Tell us a little bit how you got involved with flying.
Well, just something I've always been interested in doing. Joe Ferguson used to be the quarterback here, flew, and he basically got me started, and it took me up a few times. And from then, during the off-season, the last 3 off-seasons, actually, I've been flying, and I'm a certified flight instructor now.
Is there a couple licenses you have to get in order to fly, say, a team plane like ours, a 747 or something like that?
You'd have to be, for a captain on that, you'd have to get your air transport pilot's license.
What's the future for Jim Ritter? Is it coaching, or is it maybe being a pilot?
Well, hopefully it'll be in aviation.
Aviation?
I hope so.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Does your wife like going up with you?
Not actually. I took her to...
I don't think anybody would if you know Jim in the huddle.
No, I took her to Disney, her and the kids to Disney World, and it was a little bumpy that day, and they don't want to go back up with me anymore.
As a matter of fact, weren't you supposed to be flying tonight instead of being here on my show?
Yeah, I was going to do some night flying and some instrument work.
But you know what's more important, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Jim, let me ask you the same question that I just asked Mr. Kelly, and that's about last year. You had, lost those 2 games at the end of the year after you beat Indianapolis, and it looked like you were certainly headed on your way to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Jim thinks that was a beneficial experience, and I would imagine you feel the same way because now you can't afford to celebrate too long.
Well, that's correct. I knew, we'd been in the playoffs in 80 and 81, and then to go with that long drought with the kind of seasons we had, we were so close to going, and when those 2 games came up, I just didn't want to see it go out the window. And after the New England game, when we did lose and we weren't in the playoffs anymore, I was just really, brokenhearted, and hopefully everyone learned a lesson from that, and we're going to come out this year and make sure we're in the playoffs.
Is there any way you can compare the feeling of this team, the attitude of this team, compared to that team back in '80, which certainly was a good ball club, 11-5, won the division?
Well, I actually think this is a better ball team. We started 5-0 that year, and we beat, during the regular season, what ended up being the Super Bowl champions.
The Raiders, that's right.
But I still believe this is a better team than that.
So do I.
Well,
of course they have still.
That's right. They have the All-Pro quarterback now, and of course a good defense. Tell me a little bit about the offensive line. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, you pass protect better than you run block. Is that a fair critique, or do you think maybe the running game the last couple games has come on? Is that something that's starting to come along now?
Well, that's hard for me to answer. I look at it, and I've thought we've done pretty well all season. As far as myself, I'm probably a better run blocker than I am a pass blocker. Some of the other guys are more proficient at pass blocking.
I don't know about that. I think you do a pretty good job pass blocking too.
Thanks.
That's why you're on the show. Because before the show, before the game, that's one main concern. Marty Lyons and Mark Gastineau. Was it any concern of yours, or you knew you could handle him?
Well, he was playing awful well, and he played awful well in this ball game. But I've played him a number of times, and I felt more comfortable playing against him than some of the other people we've played so far this year.
Tell me quickly, who do you think is the toughest defender you've had to play against in your career, if you had to name a guy or two? Anybody that stands out?
Oh, the guy I always used to have the hardest time with was Julius Adams from New England. He was just, when I was just getting the start, he was like in his 12th or 13th year, and he just outfoxed me a few times, I believe, just being a veteran like that.
Okay. All right. Well, Jim, for being on my show, you get your TV and a watch, and from Jim and Chuck's Boot Shops in Dan Post snakeskin boots. And the thing is, I told Jim when I was at the house I was going to show him. He said he wanted to wear them, so he's got them on. I got mine on. Both Dan Post, beautiful from Jim and Chuck's.
Thank you very much,
Jim.
Very nice. Thanks for coming on, Jim. And we'll be back to talk about the Patriots and meet our jersey winner right after this.
If you're a boater, you know the name Sea Ray and Merc Cruiser is synonymous with outstanding quality in fiberglass pleasure boats. But did you know that Sea Ray builds over 60 different models in 16 to 46 feet? Like sport cruisers, they perfectly balance size, performance, and comfort for enjoying everything from fishing to weekending. Rich interior appointments and standard features identify them as sport cruisers by Sea Ray. Smith Boys is your authorized Merc Cruiser dealer, and remember, if it isn't a Sea Ray from Smith Boys, you've missed the boat.
You know, I may be young, but I've struck a number of great deals, and I know a great one when I see one. That's why I chose the Mancuso family of dealerships.
The Mancuso family of dealerships is proud to announce its newest addition, Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, 5160 Camp Road in Hamburg. They're dealing to become Western New York's largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership at Mancuso Chrysler Plymouth, Hamburg.
You know, the way Charlie Mancuso deals, he might even give you the shirt off his back.
Find out why Jim Kelly chose us.
Hi, I'm Dan Nevereth.
And I'm Sandy White.
And we're here in the Nearly Noon Gardens preparing for another exciting program.
It's wonderful, invigorating.
Wait a minute. Flowers do that? Buy some of these for your wife or girlfriend.
But they're plastic.
Dr. Harriet Breaker will tell you how to get up when you're feeling down.
That's right. Plus comedian Margaret Smith and Cabaret's Joel Gray.
Right here,
La
we're talking
Cabaret.
big show business
Right here.
stuff on the next Nearly Noon. Join us.
I grew up in a grocery store. My parents taught me how to judge quality when buying food. But not everyone was raised in a grocery store. So what should you look for? This, the New York State Seal of Quality. Food with this seal is more than just fresh. It often exceeds even the highest U.S. standards. So you don't have to grow up in a grocery store to know good food. The New York State Seal of Quality. It's all you need to look for.
Look for Seal of Quality farm products at these fine stores.
And our jersey winner this week comes from Jamestown, where they have a pretty good football team down there. Melissa Saxton likes to be known as Missy, right?
Yeah.
So we'll call you Missy. Thanks for coming by, Missy.
Thank you.
So what do you have here?
I have two hats, one from Casadega Valley Central School, and then one from the college I go to, Jamestown Community College.
Jamestown, what are you majoring in?
Business administration.
That's what I did. You enjoy it?
Yeah.
What do you plan on doing after you get out of school?
I'm going to be an accountant.
Where at? Would you like to stay around Buffalo or go somewhere else?
Yet.
Don't know yet.
San
Still
Francisco.
a freshman, huh? San Francisco?
Yeah.
Like California, huh?
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason?
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana. What a time for her
Well,
to say.
Missy, thanks. Your time is up
Thanks
now.
for being on the show. So these mine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I guess we can make a fair trade. There's autographed football for you. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
Brother?
I have 4 brothers.
There's a shirt and a key holder for your parents.
Thanks.
And let me see. I guess we can ask her to reach down inside. Is there anybody you'd like to say hi to first?
The school, and then my family, and then one girl from work that I work, Judy Anders.
No boys?
No.
Oh, come on now.
They're just going to have to suffer today.
Yeah, really.
Why don't you, okay, Missy, why don't you reach in there and let's find out who next week. Reach way down in there now. Lots of cards coming in. And
a lot of cards.
That's for sure. Okay, here is this week's winner.
This week's winner, 17-year-old from Collins Center, New York, Janice Green.
Janice Green.
Congratulations.
All right, yeah, the girls are taking the lead here on the Jim Kelly
Aren't they?
jersey. Yeah.
This is like on my radio show. Everybody keeps calling in, so this lady says it's always been girls.
Okay. If you want to have a chance to win Jim's game jersey, send us a postcard. You must be between 8 and 18. Include your name, your address, your phone number, your age, and send it to Jim's Jersey, WGRZ TV, 259 Delaware Avenue, Buffalo, 14202. And now, Missy, we want you to stand by and watch this because we're going to talk about the Patriots in just a moment. But first of all, to get in the mood, of course, Kent Stockdale put this together. And here is Beat the Patriots. Watch.
The Patriots.
Patriots, yeah.
If everybody had a great team, like we do right here, then everybody beat the Patriots, like we did this year. And New England returning to the team of the crime, and we just want to tell the Bills now, beat them one more time. First, let's crush their offense right here on Channel 2, and then let's crush their defense to the black and blue. All over the stadium, we got just one thing in mind: Buffalo beat New England, beat 'em Bills now to beat 'em one more time. First, let's crush their offense right here on Channel 2. And then let's crush their defense till they're black and blue. All over the stadium, we got just one thing in mind. Buffalo beat New England, beat 'em one more time. Buffalo beat New England.
Okay, so beat the Patriots. That's next Sunday right here at Rich Stadium. Jim, you have looks like another.
Yes, I was at an autograph session with Gold Dome, and a girl by the name of Laura Kirsch gave me some beautiful roses, and I want to thank her. She's from Sloan, New York, and to give Missy a rose from her, and there's a lot left, Laura, so I'm not giving them all of them. So thank you very much.
Okay, now Jim, tell me quickly here. We have a few seconds left. The Patriots. It looks like they're going to have Tippett back and maybe Lepet.
Oh boy.
And, so tell me quickly about Doug Flutie. What do you think about? Can he play in the NFL?
He's a great athlete, and I think that rises above him being so small. He can definitely get things done that way, and it's just a matter of him getting the time to throw and seeing through the slots. I think he'd rather be a little taller, but he has the athletic ability to do it.
Okay, so it's the Bills and the Patriots next week. Missy, thank you. Jim Richard, thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
Jim Kelly, thank you again as usual. And we'll see you right here next week after the Bills play the Patriots Monday night, 7:30. So long, everybody.
The Jim Kelly Show is brought to you by the Mancuso family of dealerships. Come join our family. And by Smith Boys Marine, now with 3 locations. If it isn't a Sea Ray from Smith Boys, you've missed the boat. Guests receive a gift from Sibley's Fine Jewelry, who feature Pulsar. The world knows a great watch when it sees one. Pulsar, fine jewelry at Sibley's. Transportation provided by Royal Coach Limousine Service. Ride in luxury for any occasion.
I just turned away for a second. They went right to work.